Boom, boom. Hey guys, you're watching the Vinyl Casket, and this is the first ever episode, Twitchcast of 1 month later, the virtual podcast, virtual book club, podcast book club. You guys already know Manny reads comics. I done a stream with him prior where we talked about. there we go. Where we had hosted by Manny. We already did a stream a couple weeks ago where we talked about comics, and now I've been telling you guys that this is coming, and it's finally here. So if everyone wants to introduce themselves, and then we can talk about comics.
No, yeah, like he's saying, we're about to talk comics. My name's Manny. Really happy to be here. Really happy everyone's joining. On to the next one.
Hey guys, I'm Carlos. I'm really happy to be here. Comics is everything, and just glad to be part of the group and talk comics.
Up on Matt. I'm ready to rock. Been hanging and talk to people about comics, so let's go, eh?
I'm Carlo without the S. From the Forest Bay. What's up?
Yeah, no, it almost sounds like we're like a Alcoholic Anonymous over here, but with comics. Like, yeah, I have a problem with comics.
It is an addiction.
We need to talk about it. No, but we are here. We're going to talk about, let me see. We decided we're going to talk about Batman, Flash, Once and Future, Amazing Spider-Man, X-Men, and Seven Secrets. Just basically what's happened over the last month. We have been slacking. Not all of us have read everything, so it is what it is. But we'll start with Amazing Spider-Man. We'll do Marvel first, then DC, and then the indie comics. But Amazing Spider-Man, the last one that I read was The Last Remains 53 LR. I think that's there's one more out that I haven't read. But what do you guys think so far?
No, but actually, I think that you're caught up, man. 53 LR was the last issue that came out, wasn't it? Or was it 54?
I think one came out this week.
That's right.
The cover with the eyes where you see the reflection.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I haven't read that one. It's a beautiful cover by Patrick Leeson, though. Like, it's amazing. I love him as an artist. His next cover for 55 is gonna be, it's like the black one with the white outline. Have you guys seen that?
Yes. By the way, quick announcement on that for the viewers. So he actually posted up on Twitter and on his Instagram page that if you go on his shop, he has an exclusive Virgin variant of it. And
Really?
He's doing CGC signing on it, both just a regular blue label and signature series, and you can only get it through his personal shop. So it's not going to be on any of the other big retailers like That Lemon and Unknown Comics, Comic Mate, all of that. You can only get it through a shop, and it's absolute fire, man. Like the Virgin variant looks even better.
I'll see you guys later. Then I got something to do.
Right. So yeah, man. But yeah, check out his shop. Also on my Instagram page, I'm gonna put in City Comics. I put the link there as well. So if anyone wants to go check it out, it's definitely worth it. And they're not that expensive, man. He's pricing them pretty good, especially for a yellow label. So yeah, I want to throw that out there to everybody.
Thank you.
Well, I'm behind, mate.
Story-wise, so the last thing I read was the fact. What was it? It was the LR one where everyone just got out of being demons. Like the Spider Family, they just got done being demons, and and what's his name? Kindred. He revealed himself. What do you guys think about that? Like the whole reveal.
We spoil it in case people haven't read it.
Let's spoil it. Hey,
Yeah,
Well, I read the last issue
I
because
put a spoiler warning in the chat, so we should be good.
well, I didn't get Seven Secrets this week and the Amazing Spider-Man because we just discovered this morning, Nick and I, that.
Yeah.
Buddy, I'm a week. Diamond distributes to Australia every fortnightly at the moment, not weekly. So I haven't read the current issue, but yes, I'm a bit. So we can spoil it. Sweet. So Harry Osborn, I'm just confused right now. Like, when the hell did he? I can't remember. Did he leave in this run by Spencer, or was it the previous run? Because I can't even remember anything about Harry Osborn.
I think the last one where with Red Goblin, that's when he showed up last.
Okay, that was
Red Goblin was like kidnapping his son or whatever,
Yeah.
his grandson, and that's
So I
like
didn't read the previous. I've only been reading Expenses run.
okay, I see. I see. Oh,
Okay.
you missed out, man. That was a good run.
News of where he was and what happened with him. So now, okay, cool.
Yeah, but he's basically back. I mean, have you read up until this last issue though? Like, have you read all of Spencer's
Yeah,
run?
I just haven't read the issue that came out this week. Anything that came out, anything that's Diamond this week, DC's still weekly here. But anything that's Diamond, forget it. I won't get it till next week. But we can spoil it. It's cool.
Gotcha. Okay. I mean, he revealed himself, to Peter recently,
Yeah,
but
that was the last issue, wasn't it?
yeah, but it was actually a couple issues before that Norman ended up kind of
Yeah.
kind of revealing it, and that was an issue. What issue was that?
And I
53,
honestly, I think I talked about it on my Instagram, but the fact that like Norman is all he just got like shot by the Sin Eater, so he's all saved and everything.
Yeah.
And but Mary Jane talks to him like he's not gonna do something, like he hasn't been evil before. I'm like, you need to slow down. Like this guy's a killer. Why are you talking to him like that?
Trusting.
Yeah. No, but she's definitely not trusting him. She's like, I don't know what you're saying, but I need to get away from you.
Yep.
Like, but I think it's been a pretty good run. What I'm looking forward to is hopefully they undo the One More Day storyline.
Oh my god! So I don't haven't talked yet because I'm not that caught up on Spider-Man, but I remember One More Day, and that was awful.
I think that I think that it's really probably the most hated like Spider-Man storyline, right? And not far behind. I think it's like the Clone Saga, because I feel like the Clone Saga has its people that just love it and also the people that absolutely hate it. But I think that besides that storyline, that one is the most hated and the most controversial one.
Which honestly, that reminds me of like the last thing. So the last one that I read was Amazing Spider-Man 53, and with that one, in 52 LR, the last page was of the Spider family like walking down in Peter's like subconscious or whatever, like that dimension.
Yeah. His
And,
dreamscape. Yeah.
yeah, the dreamscape or something, and there was like some kind of demon looking over, like on a building, looking at them. And my theory is that that's their the kid that Mary Jane and Peter were supposed to have, the girl from One More Day. That she was
Yeah.
like, "I'm your daughter," blah blah blah. Um, but
When
that's
was the
my
one
theory.
day? When was the one day? Because I have not read that one.
One
And
more,
I'm reading J Thingo's Spider-Man.
So one more day was like a long time ago, right? It
Yeah,
was
2006 or something. I'll look it up while you're talking.
It was it was like during 2006, during the time that Joe Quesada was basically
was it that long? No, one more day was like
Yeah, man.
2011. I feel like it was after Civil War and everything.
So
No,
we were close. We were close. 2007 November.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
yeah, 'cause- yeah, 2011 was when was in Dance Plots was when Dance Plots big time run started.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, they had a daughter in that one, did they?
Oh no. So in One More Day, basically what happens is that was immediately after the Civil War,
Yeah.
and Peter had revealed his secret identity, and
The world knew it.
He hides his identity, and is it Doctor Ock or something becomes Spider-Man? Someone.
No, that's even later. That's Superior Spider-Man. This is during the Civil War. He like took his mask off as like a publicity stunt, and was on like Iron Man's side. And I think Aunt May got shot, and she like died. So he made a deal with Mephisto to
like
restart everything,
Yeah.
and he gets one more day. There was a whole big lead up, which was it one last day or
Yeah. So basically, what ended up happening, the deal was that Mephisto would give him one more day to redo the events that ended up, happening, so that he could save Aunt May. But in exchange, basically, both Peter and Mary Jane agreed to give up their happiness, and what their happiness was
married.
basically their marriage, their future together, and Mephisto feeds off of that.
And so
So
like one of the like visions that he showed him was like
yeah,
their kid, like that they would have had a kid. They would have been so happy with this kid. It was a little girl, And she's
Yeah.
like, "You're giving me up. Like this is what you're doing by making this deal. Is you're killing me." And and Peter really struggled with that, but things happen. I don't want to like completely give it away to you because I want you to read it. It's a
It's good,
good
man.
story, but
I've read
it's
Civil War. I've read Civil War. I'll have to read that
A lot of people hated One More Day though, like hated it, and I thought the build up to it was pretty cool. And
Yeah.
the reason why it was so cool when they showed him like the kid was because at that time, like you guys all saw my Instagram post this week where I did like a backlog of trade paperback.
Yeah.
Spider Girl was like an ongoing series like around that time, which was like an alternate future. What's it called? MC2 or something,
Yeah.
where like all these alternate what if like future characters, and I always thought that was so cool when I was younger. And when they mentioned that, it was like a big deal because she was like an actual like character. They were like kind of saying like, oh yeah, this might actually be like the actual future.
In the main universe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and like
Like,
that made people really excited.
And it was I thought that it was a good story, but the final execution and the final outcome of it was,
yeah.
I mean, it it was years of of undoing,
Yeah,
story building by, I mean, legendary writers.
but it's
Um,
also so weird because it's another one of those like plot hole things. So everyone forgets his identity, but all the other stuff that happened in the Civil War, everyone remembers.
Well, the thing
Right.
is, you gotta like so it's a little confusing because again he was going to make this deal with Mephisto, but in the end he backed out. He's like, no, I'm not gonna do that. But Mary Jane behind his back was like, hey, let's make this deal. But to Peter, he remembers going to Doctor Strange and Doctor Strange doing some kind of spell to make everybody forget. And anytime that he reveals his identity to people that knew before, that spell weakens. And
and and all of the memories come rushing back to that person if he decides to reveal his identity,
Okay.
Black
which
Cat,
happened recently with Black Cat, with
Oh
Felicia.
yeah.
Remember where she said,
Yeah.
"Hey, like I feel that there's a piece of me missing." The moment that he ends up revealing himself to her,
Yeah.
all of that comes,
that's what that was
Yeah, that
referencing.
makes sense. Now. I
That's
was a bit
crazy.
confused there. Now I understand how he explained all of that bloody one day storylines.
I love it
Right.
because every time I try to talk to anybody about comics, about the current thing, they're like, well, why is that happening? I was like, all right, well, to explain that, I need to talk about this. And then to explain that, I need to talk about this.
There's layers. There's layers to this. But
It all makes sense now. It's because I've only just jumped on this Nick Spencer Spider-Man, so I haven't
Yeah.
I've read I bought all the old Stan Lee originals like that, but not the original comics, but the omnibus and
Yeah.
that. But I haven't read anything like in the last 5-10 years of Spider-Man.
well, hey
Even
man, like
the very first issue of Nick Spencer's run, if you go back to it, it shows like him in the black suit with Mary Jane on top of like I think the Empire State Building or something.
that's right. Yeah.
That's from either One More Day or like the next storyline.
Yeah.
That's what I was referencing. That's why ever since this new volume started, I was like, oh man, something's gonna happen with One More Day.
Did
Something's
Back
gonna
in Black happen before or after this?
After.
After. Okay.
yeah
Yeah. Because after.
kick the Kingpin's ass like
Yeah. Exactly.
that was
And,
good.
but you know what? Going back to what you mentioned originally, that One More Day, that we're gonna be revisiting it. I honestly think that it's either gonna be undone or there's something that's gonna happen, because when Peter goes to Doctor Strange in issue, what is it, like 51, I think, to get into the dreamscape,
Yeah,
be able to access the web to find the rest of the spider team, and he puts on the hand of Vishanti to get him there. It fails, and Doctor Strange says, he mentions, have you ever made he basically says, have you ever made a deal or a negotiation with, and then he pauses and he doesn't finish the sentence, and he says, it's impossible. And I can almost guarantee that the reason why he wasn't initially able to put on the hand of Ashanti and use it, and what Strange is referring to, is that deal that he made with Mephisto.
Mephisto.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And
Oh.
what's even crazier, it's like blowing my mind, is that there's been references to Mephisto and a
Yes.
big storyline, something that's gonna happen with Mephisto across a bunch of different titles, starting with Jason Aaron's. I don't know if anyone's reading Jason Aaron's Avengers run,
I
but
had to give that one up.
but basically though, I mean, I keep up with it just because I'm a huge Jason Aaron fan. But basically, I mean, you guys are at least aware of the Avengers 1 million BC, right?
Yeah.
Like, remember that? Yeah. So in his run in certain issues, he gives the backstory on all of those Avengers, how they started, how they came together, and Mephisto has popped up in terms of the origin of a lot of those Avengers, right? So
the
I
same,
feel like,
the
go ahead.
same thing happened with I love the Champions run. If you're not reading Champions, I definitely you should definitely start reading
Oh,
Champions.
that's right. Yeah, go
But
ahead. Yeah.
in Champions, the last volume, um, it was almost the same thing with Miles Morales. He did the same. He made a deal with Mephisto to go back one more day, and he saved his teammates. He saved a bunch of people, but then like a bunch of other people died, of course, and things happen. And then Miles Morales feels all guilty about it, and but doesn't want to talk to anybody about it. Of course, he's like, "No, I'm fine. Leave me alone. I'm fine." But it's the same thing like you're talking about. Like Mephisto's popping up everywhere, and
I
Yeah.
have a question because I haven't really read Miles like after the whole Ultimate Universe is gone. Does he remember everything that happened in the Ultimate Universe?
I
He
believe.
does. He
Okay.
does. Yeah. He does because as almost like thank you um Molecule Man ends up like leaving his memories intact,
Oh,
um
okay.
so that he can be able to not just remember what ended up happening, but also be able to appreciate the fact that he got his mom back, because
Yeah.
that's what was driving Miles towards not becoming a hero again, and it's what was like you know breaking his spirit.
And that
uh,
that's right there is from Secret Wars, right?
that's from Secret Wars. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The
I
new
haven't had
one,
a chance
right?
to actually read
The new
that.
one. Yeah, yeah, the new one. But
I just it's got to be weird for him to exist like deal already knowing that like Peter Parker passed away and then Peter Parker still being alive.
That's what gets me with currently he was doing something. I forget what it is, but anytime like the Green Goblin shows up and it's about oh yeah, even in this it's in this current run of Spider-Man, like the Green Goblin is coming back and stuff, and he's like you can't trust him. He is so against Green Goblin coming back because he knows that Green Goblin killed Peter Parker in his world. So he's like
exactly.
every time that's mentioned, I'm just like a little part of me is like it's cool, man. It's all right, Miles. It's gonna be all right.
Yeah,
Yeah, and you know what? Not just for him, but also for Gwen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So sorry. Go ahead, Nick.
no, I was just gonna say that I was telling Manny before we started the stream um that I'm gonna wait until this last Remain story ends and then I'm hopping on. So I'm excited because like I haven't read Spider-Man in a long time, like Amazing Spider-Man, but like I'm really excited. Like you guys hearing you guys talk is like awesome because I've been like doing a little bit of research, but like with
My
because I knew what was going on with Sin Eater and I know like a little bit about Kindred. So like I'm really excited to see because it seems like a really good story writing is going on.
my only my only I guess criticism though, I guess, is that it's taken damn near 50 issues, for for the reveal. For me, the reveal was a little anti climactic.
Climactic.
Yeah, a little bit, but I feel like the story is at least starting to build up towards something that's gonna be really good, man.
If, if they
Because
touch on one more day, I'll be all right with it. But like you said, like as soon as they revealed Harry, I was like, oh, okay, cool, whatever.
there it is. Yep.
Are
So
they, did he? So I think it's the last issue because when you read so many books, you get bloody all the stories mixed up. He made a deal with Kindred, didn't he, to
Yep.
take him and they survive? Yeah, is that
yeah,
right?
Yeah,
yes,
I thought he died.
That's
I
what I
thought
thought.
that Kindred like snapped his neck, but
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
apparently,
Yeah, man, dude. Peter just makes all the bad deals, man. He's not
Yeah.
not a good negotiator, man.
to kind of go on a fun tangent, just to keep it relative. How do you guys feel about like this multiverse movie coming up?
Oh, would they announce how all three Spider-Men are going to be in?
Dude,
Yeah,
Well, I haven't announced Toby yet. He apparently wants a big paycheck, but
He's gonna,
Oh my
he's gonna
God.
come in like with the Venom dance and everything. He's gonna be like,
Me, I could not be happier, man. Honestly, I could not be happier, and I feel that what's happening is that this is gonna connect somehow into Doctor Strange, his movie, and Ant-Man's movie. They
Mhm.
are
they said that they will. They've
yeah,
announced that.
they are absolutely building towards a multiverse. I mean, all of these different Spider-Man are gonna deal with. I think that the quantum realm is gonna play into it. Doc, Doctor Strange. Again, jumping through the multiverse, doing whatever the hell it is that he's gonna be doing. I think that it's coming. And speaking of Secret Wars that we just did, we're having Secret Invasion, but I think that the ultimate plan, the ultimate goal that this is really gonna building towards is gonna be Secret Wars, and I feel
Mhm.
that that's how they're really gonna bring in. Uh,
Venom. They bring me in Venom like that.
Dude, exactly. I feel that that's how they're gonna bring in Venom. I feel that that's really how they're gonna introduce the Fantastic Four, and most importantly, I think the biggest puzzle piece to it all is how are we gonna get the X Men
Yeah.
to be part of
I'm really interested to see on how they do that, cuz like before Infinity War and everything happened, I always had a theory and they went in a completely different direction. I really thought like with the snap and everything that was going to be reset and then okay, everyone's together like or like oh these guys die and you could easily introduce like like side characters to build the universe.
yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah. Of course.
I'm still waiting to see like because there's so that's the problem. There's so many characters that they could do so many different things, especially because when you think about it, so many of Marvel's characters exist in New York City and New York that it's like kind of ridiculous.
All of them, all of
Like,
them,
like
all
how
of
did
them.
so like then the people are gonna be like, well, why did we never see like when that big fight happened with like Iron Man and Spider Man and everybody and Doctor Strange in New York City? I was like, you know what, like. Where's Daredevil and freaking Luke Cage just walking around like, hey, what's going on?
Right? No, like yeah. With the multiverse of Spider-Man, I did tell a friend. I said I'm trying not to get my hopes up about it because I don't feel like being crushed. But I told them like if they're gonna make it good, like I'm expecting that this is gonna be more of a in between chapter movie. So like the movie itself by itself is not gonna be great. It's not gonna be like an amazing movie, but it is gonna introduce a bunch of characters. And like the fact that it's introducing so many characters like that is what was wrong with like Spider-Man 3, right? Like there were so many villains, so many like
Yeah.
all that stuff. Um, so in my head, I'm saying either they can go the route of introducing everybody like that with the multiverse, and it's only going to be about 10 minutes of multiverse stuff. They'll show Tobey Maguire for like 2 minutes or something like that, and that'll be it. If they want to make it a good movie, but if they want to introduce the rest of stuff, and this movie is just going to be all multiverse, Tobey Maguire teams up with Tom Holland, teams up with Andrew Garfield, and all that, which would be amazing.
They
But
said they were bringing back a
Daredevil,
lot of the villains, so
Daredevil.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. We got Doctor Octopus. If they're gonna make the whole movie like that, it'll be great, but it's not gonna be anything like amazing as a movie itself because it
They're gonna
is
cramp
just gonna be
too
a
much.
transition between, like you said, Doctor Strange, WandaVision, all that stuff. So like it's kind of hard to get excited for it, but at the same time, it's like I do want to see all of them together. Maybe do a little kind of Roger Rabbit thing and have the Miles Morales from Into the Spider Verse in there. Like that'd be great. I'd be happy with that.
Dude,
Disney really went this week on like went crazy, like
they went
announcing
fantastic.
stuff.
Star
Oh, they
Wars.
went off their head.
Is that?
What was that?
They went off crazy.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, dude. Yeah,
Like
it was. It was
some
more.
of it, like, obviously, we knew like certain things were coming, but they really like went balls
They
to the
announced
wall.
Fantastic Four film too, didn't they? At the end, was at the end they announced Fantastic Four film.
I think
Yeah,
so. Um,
which
Otherwise, nothing X Men, nothing X Men, nothing.
Yeah, that was upsetting.
because again, I feel that look, while I am extremely excited for the Fantastic Four, I mean, it's about damn time that we get a good Fantastic Four movie, right?
Yeah.
As much as I'm excited for everything that they announced, I mean, I think that it's for known for a fact that no one is as excited, uh, or no one's more excited for another title or characters coming to the MCU than the X-Men. And I
Yeah.
feel that, they're, I mean, they dropped a bunch of bombs, with all of the reveals. I feel like that's gonna be just the absolute, you know, epic last big reveal for this phase.
So you want to know like a cool fact? So you guys all watched the last Fantastic Four movie, right?
Yeah,
Unfortunately.
So
unfortunately.
the opening scene, like how it opens up and it gives you like a town where it's from. That's my hometown. That's where I live.
Oh,
Oh,
snap.
for real? Well, there
I,
you go.
I thought it
You
was
should've
really.
had
I didn't
powers,
think
man.
they would mention. They straight up mention it.
Oh man.
It's also the town where they based Meet the Fockers.
Which one's better though? You gotta say. Like,
No.
which,
I'm gonna say Meet the Fockers is definitely better than
I'm
the
gonna
Fantastic
cop it.
Four movie.
I'm gonna cop it because I'm not a massive, I'm not a massive. But I'll tell you what, I thought the last Fantastic Four film was actually alright.
It wasn't
No.
terrible, but it definitely
no.
is not what we deserve.
Okay.
I think when people tell you, "Oh, it's really bad, it's really shit," don't even bother watching it. I think you go into it with no expectations. It was the same as the X-Men Phoenix one. I went in it with zero expectations. I was
That
like,
still
"You know what?
sucked.
Not as bad."
Look, that happened to me with New Mutants. I mean, I heard that it was absolute trash. It was it was enjoyable for me.
Yeah.
At least from at least for me, it was enjoyable. I
New
can't say
Mutants. It
I can't.
definitely goes New Mutants, um, Phoenix, Dark Phoenix, whatever, and then like all the way down here, Fantastic Four. Like,
Fantastic
no, man.
for sure, for sure.
But like underneath Fantastic Four, you have Daredevil, Ghost Rider.
No,
Hey,
those
Ghost
are
Rider was
classics.
filmed in Australia, boys. Just so you know.
Those are classics. We don't talk about those, all right?
Daredevil was awful.
Daredevil, Ben Affleck.
Daredevil was good. I actually liked Daredevil. I actually
Yeah,
liked
you
it.
got Colin Farrell.
Wait, but it could not have been worse than Elektra, man.
Nah, Elektra was fine. Elektra and Catwoman were the worst.
No, Catwoman is easily the
Oh,
absolute
Oh,
worst
we're bringing in
superhero
DC movies now.
ever
Oh
made
my!
in the history of superhero movies.
Speaking of Catwoman, going back to my Instagram post about my wife not knowing about Tim Burton making Batman movies and all
Yeah.
that, we just watched. I say we just watched Batman Forever, but she straight up said, "I don't care about this movie. I'm going to sleep. Like, I'm not watching this." But
Makes sense.
so she really like loves Tim Burton's aesthetic and everything like that, but she hated Catwoman, like Michelle Pfeiffer. And I gotta agree, think before the movie started, I was like, hey, you gotta remember that this Catwoman is like the number one standard for Catwoman. She's the best. Michelle Pfeiffer is amazing.
It
And
is.
then
It is.
and then she
It
was
is.
like, what about Halle Berry? Like, wasn't Halle Berry Catwoman? I was like, we don't talk about Halle Berry at all. And then but then we watched the movie, and I gotta say I agree with her. Like, Michelle Pfeiffer having 9 lives, being like she was just dumb before she became Catwoman. After she became Catwoman, she was weird. You gotta go. I don't know when was the last time you guys watched Batman Returns, but
Not that long ago.
that.
Not that
And
long ago. She's
it's not
still
good. It's not good.
no. It's good. It's good, dude. Michelle Pfeiffer has. She is the standard. She's the standard. Obviously, a Catwoman these days can't be portrayed in the same.
Yeah.
Can't be
But the whole the fact that she got her powers from being dead, like the cats just showed up out of nowhere, and now she has 9 lives. Like, what?
Plotline aside, just her portrayal of being Catwoman, the way that she plays around with Batman, the way that she seduces him, dude, everything about her portrayal in terms of being confident, in terms of being cat-like in her movements. I thought it's great, man.
She literally gave herself a bath. She was like, I gotta take a bath, and just started licking herself, man. Like, I was like, no.
Talking about Catwoman, and then like going back to Megan Spider-Man. Black Cat. Do you reckon they'll ever do something with Black Cat in the films? Or do you reckon they're too worried that like she's too
I
much
hope
of
so, man.
not a rip-off, but you know what I mean? Like people like Catwoman, and people like.
For me, I hope so, and this is a very popular, unpopular opinion with a lot of people that I have conversation with here and there. But I'll fight someone. Black Cat Black Cat over Catwoman for me. Any
Yes.
day.
It really depends on who's writing them and what the storyline is. Because like I
Yeah,
feel like they both bring different things to the table. Uh, it's so hard because I feel like as a villain, Catwoman is way more involved than Black Cat because
yeah,
she gets more involved with like you know Penguin and them and like she can actually cause a bunch of problems where Black Cat is like more of an anti-hero than anything. Like she steals, but she doesn't really get involved with other.
right.
Yeah.
And you know she has not had the same access to her own storylines, her own comic book runs up until recently, right?
Yeah,
And just like most characters, it you're right. It does depend on who's writing them. But as I don't know, I guess for as like a character design and you know the basics of what make a superhero, you know, the character that they are. I for me, it's Black Cat, man.
Yeah,
I
no,
do
I
like Black Cat's like
Black
costume and
Cat.
aesthetic with the, like the white hair and the
Yeah,
I
man.
like that way more. But like I feel like especially now in Batman how she's basically become a very like vital part of the Bat family.
Yeah.
Like it's so hard. It's so hard for me. Have you read Batcat issue 1 yet?
I got it today. Yes,
I
yesterday.
haven't yet. I haven't
It
yet.
so far I don't know where they're gonna go with it, but so far it seems like they're portraying her like as like a very serious character, and I really like it. Um, I'm not sure, but also we were talking about the like movies and stuff and MCU. I just looked at my phone again. I didn't know they announced Armor Wars.
yeah,
Yeah, dude.
What the?
Yeah.
they
It,
announced a lot.
yeah. It's gonna be basically War Machine
Yeah.
and yeah, it's really gonna be based on him and just um a bunch of different I guess like rogue organizations or you know villains getting access to different you know armors and trying to track him down and take care of stuff. But
Tony Stark's worst nightmare, basically.
exactly, yeah.
This
I'm
this
excited.
is
Ironheart as well, didn't they? Ironheart.
yeah Ironheart too.
Yeah,
They announced
yeah, no,
Ironheart.
I'm not like, is that Tony Stark's daughter? Who's Ironheart?
she's just a
No,
random girl that's a genius, and she figured out how to
Oh,
make.
yeah.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, like to finish off on my Black Cat over Catwoman. Just a quick question because again, I haven't been that involved in DC. Um, but overall, the last couple years, one of the reasons why I enjoy Black Cat more than Catwoman is because the little that I have read on Catwoman, I feel like her whole thing is that she's a thief, right? That's what she does. I feel like Black Cat's storylines when she's involved, she's always stealing something. I feel like she's more of a thief than Selena is.
Yeah,
But
like
I'm
that.
asking you guys,
I agree with
guys,
that.
do you see her like actually doing heists? You know, focusing on you know all of that stuff, what she's supposed to be known for. Because over the last years, I've just loved and enjoyed seeing Felicia, you know, running all these heists, and especially her last series, dude. It felt like a heist movie, and it was just awesome. So
Well,
just out of curiosity, you know.
that's actually a really good way to transition into like the Batman that we're
Yeah,
supposed to be talking about
All
because
right.
at the end of Joker War,
she
uh,
pulls off some crazy shit.
Oh, she does.
took
All
over
right, cool.
a whole part of Gotham, and she's like, "This alley town is my town now," and she like overtook whoever was in charge. Now it's her town. She made herself a little posse, and like so
She
basically,
made Lucius Fox the richest man alive.
yeah, like I'm surprised. Honestly, I'm surprised she didn't keep that money for herself or
You know
something.
what? Because if she did, she would have the whole brownstone conversation that she had with Batman wouldn't
Mhm.
make sense if she kept all that money.
Yeah,
Now I reckon because Lucius Fox got it. Don't forget in Future State, it's going to be his son that plays Batman.
So
So
no,
I've never
I
heard
saw
of
now
I
I
saw
pray
a
son.
spoiler, and I'm not. It's his other son. It's not Luke.
it. It's
Oh, it's
Nate.
not Luke.
Nate. I've never heard of Nate, but it's
Nate's
Nate
like
Fox.
his like
Yeah.
estranged like half son or something.
So yeah, so again, I have no idea really as far as who he is, but I have seen posts that this is an old character, man, and I guess you know comic book like flippers and speculators were like flooding the internet with his first appearance, and it's an old ass issue, man.
So, guys, I just want to bring up because we got someone in the chat, James, bringing up that Black Cat was recently a mob boss.
Yeah, yeah, she was. I forgot
Exactly.
about that. Yeah,
was that, and you know what, James, you're absolutely right. Like that storyline, like I said, Black Cat beat Catwoman because she was a mob boss for a while, man.
and to bring it back to what we were talking about earlier, like she did that because she was pissed off about Peter. Peter, like when he was Superior Spider-Man, so Doc Ock actually like messed with her, but she
Yeah.
hated him. She
Landed her ass in jail, man.
Yeah. So she was like, you know what? I'm done being good. I'm done. Fuck Spider-Man. Like, here it is. And then she just
But
became
you
like,
know
a
what?
mob boss.
Right now in Batman, like after all Joker War, it seems like Catwoman is going that direction too.
Yeah.
With the whole she now has like her own compound, and they're doing this with all the Bat characters. They're giving them areas like because she has what's her area called?
Alleytown.
She's got Alleytown, which is like a section of Gotham. Red Hood now has the Hill, which is like a section of Gotham. Batgirl is like has the Watchtower or whatever it is, the clock tower, and then obviously Nightwing went back to Bloodhaven.
That's pronounced Bloodhaven.
Is it
like
Bloodhaven?
Every time I say Bloodhaven, I'm like,
it sounds.
I should say it the other way, but
it sounds so much cooler if you say Bloodhaven.
Yeah,
Bloodhaven. Yeah, I'll call it Bloodhaven.
Yeah, because like
2 dots, so like Uber has the 2 dots on top. So it's Bloodhaven.
Sounds fair. All right.
That's why he wears the blue Nightwing. Yeah.
Wait, but wasn't he there when he was wearing the red too? Which would make sense of blood.
We'll talk about that. If you're proving me wrong, we're not talking about it.
Okay. But okay, so we're now on to Batman, and obviously
we got Ghostmaker.
Are we only talking about Batman, or are we talking about Batman and Detective? Because there's 2 Bat stories happening right now.
You have something with Detective, and everyone else has something with it. Talk about it, man. Like
I just think it's so obviously they ended Joker War the way everyone thought they would, with nothing really happening, but it opens up and changes some stories around. Like we knew the Joker wasn't like nothing's gonna actually happen to the Joker. He's just gonna disappear for a while, and now I'm excited for whenever Punchline issue 2 comes out because I want to read that. Yeah. But
well, I've heard a rumor that or read a rumor that in Future State people are thinking that the new Harley Quinn is actually gonna be Punchline. What do you guys think about that?
No,
that would make sense because they hated each other. Why would she become her?
Yeah.
I like it. I like it, fact, because Harley Quinn. I don't know about you guys in America, but in Australia, every Comic Con, every freaking is just
everywhere.
Harley Quinn everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm just over Harley Quinn now. I'm like completely over it. And I'm
actually like, you know what it is, and it's because she was such a good person, like such a good character in like the games, and got really big. And then obviously in the animated series, we all know her from. Yeah. And then in the movie, like obviously, like the movie is iffy. Suicide Squad and her own movie was kind of iffy, but like a lot of people like gravitated towards what's her name, Margot Robbie.
Yeah,
they like really gravitated to her, and the like I don't personally feel that way, but like a lot of people like gravitated towards that, and it's really like she's up there with Batman now, like as like popularity.
To me,
which brings us to Clown Hunter, who's trying to kill her.
Yeah,
and like it's failing hard. Like
it's so funny. So this is happening in the Batman title. So you have there's 2 stories happening. You have the stuff with Ghost Hunter, which is awesome, and then you have the stuff with Mirror. And I don't know if anyone's caught up, but now Hush is in the situation.
Oh yeah, I've got that. I've got to read that. I got that today.
Yeah, and they hinted at that a couple issues ago. But I didn't think that both titles were gonna have introductions of major new villains right out of the gate. I thought one was gonna take the way, and then the other was just gonna sit. But there's 2 really big storylines now happening after the end of that story, which I thought was kind of crazy. But obviously we know right now that you're getting a lot of backstory, like with I got the last everything since issue 100. So
Nice.
the new day, introduction of the full introduction of Ghostmaker, uh, Ghostmaker versus Clown Hunter, and the current one that just came out 2 weeks ago, where they get kidnapped by Ghostmaker. I can't believe that this is like what's happening because the way they portray Harley Quinn in this is really entertaining. She's like, oh, I'm gonna be like a good guy now. I'm gonna get an apartment. Like I promise, I'm gonna pay my rent. Like I'm good for it. I promise, I'm good for it. And this guy's like, you were with the Joker, huh? And she's like, I haven't been working with the Joker in years. And then Batman just sitting there like, Harley, you were there when he killed his parents, and she's like, oh shit.
Yeah. See, yeah. So I haven't read Batman 104 yet. That's
I was gonna show that photo at
oh,
the end.
no. Please feel free to spoil it. Whatever. It is what it is. But like the last thing that I read was 103, where like she was just like Clown Hunter is going after her, and she's just like making fun of him. Like you stink. You're obviously a teenager. Your moves suck. Let me kick you in the balls real quick. Ah, look at that. You're down. And she's like, I'm trying to turn over a new leaf, but you need to calm down. And I love it. It's
One issue,
talking shit about a Ghostmaker's name. She's like, Ghostmaker? That's stupid. Like, that was great. I loved it.
I
So
really enjoy the way Tinian writes Harley Quinn because she's like the comedic relief while she's trying to be serious.
Right. Yeah.
So just out of for my own knowledge, because you guys obviously seem to be really knowledgeable with Harley Quinn. I always wondered when was the transition, or if there even was a transition that explains away. I mean, she still seems like she's kind of crazy, but I've always thought that her background, and why she's with the Joker is because she literally just lost her she lost her marbles, right?
Yeah.
And that was due to the Joker. He basically like broke her mind, to where she was just again nuts, man. And it feels like now from what I hear, she's still you know Harley Quinn, and she's still up to her like crazy hijinks, but she almost feels like a Deadpool now, where he
That makes sense.
where he does it on purpose, not because he's crazy, but that's just he's just kind of a little nuts, but he's not psychotic. And
I think it
I always
really
thought
comes down to
you know what I mean?
how yeah, I understand what you're saying and it makes sense, but like I feel like like, how they kind of tried, like they did the same thing in the animated series where they kind of try to pull her away from Joker when they did the stuff with Poison Ivy. They kind of
Right.
did that, especially when Suicide Squad took off, like the comic series.
Yeah.
Like they tried to create herself, and her be not like being in that fight with Joker really forces her to develop her own, like she's still crazy, but now she has to need another reason for living, and she becomes
Right.
kind of like Deadpool, where like she's just kind of winging it, and she has no like direct like motives anymore.
I
Yeah.
think the transition started
talk about
happening with
oh,
like backlash from like feminists and other groups like, hey, it's not right for Joker to be beating up a Harley Quinn, and that's not a good example. So DC was like, oh shoot, you know what? That's right. Let's make her her own person. She's not Joker's slave. She's a female. Let's give her her own identity, and that's when it started. Because I was like reading like, hey, this is not right, and it's like, makes sense.
You know,
Gotcha.
I agree with Carlo because I reckon after the film, Carlo without an S, after the films blew up and Harley Quinn just got so massive and everyone's just so infatuated by her, I think they thought, oh, what Carlo was saying, same thing. I think we can't have that the way she's treated with Joker and that as a representation of her. So that's why I reckon they changed it as well.
Got-
Like,
Okay,
Yeah,
it
gotcha.
happened all after all the movie. She's changed after all the movies and after all this
Right.
popularity
Okay.
of her.
So,
Her character started to change.
okay, so it wasn't attributed to like something specific. The character just evolved, and that just ended up
Yeah,
happening.
I'm
Yeah,
sure,
they
I'm sure
really
there's
started
a
making her like an
loophole.
anti-hero.
Jean jacket.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm sure there's an issue where she probably got like beat up by the Joker, like more than usual, and that was like the okay, I can't be in this anymore.
Yeah.
But like Matt and Carlo were saying, like I do see on Facebook, Instagram a lot of stop trying to idealize the Joker and Harley Quinn relationship that is not an ideal relationship to try to go for,
Yeah.
and so I think DC definitely was like, yeah, we definitely should follow that and
Yeah.
say she needs to break away from him, and that kind of helps with anybody who's like in a domestically abusive relationship
Right. Makes sense.
to be like, well, that's not right. I need to get out of that. So probably
Right?
like just
Popularity should start becoming a role model. Like, hey,
exactly.
let's do it.
Yeah. And I thought that was, yeah, I've always been fascinated about how many people love Harley. And yeah, that's one of the things that I've always thought about. Like, she's got a really messed up background, like, and then I would see couples, like posting about, they dress up Harley and Joker love, and I always thought, I don't think they read comics,
Nah, none of them do.
I will,
None.
I don't think they read comics.
I will say that in the comics though, I read the rebirth volume of Suicide Squad, and she was still crazy. Like she was still very smart. She's still very intelligent. She has all her training, but like she knows that she's crazy, but she still does whatever she does because she wants to. She is crazy.
So
Um,
a good thing on that, where they say that she's crazy, but she's also like smart, is in the last issue of Deceased. They have them all sitting around in this circle, like because they need like when they were trying to make the serum and everything, the
Yeah.
cure, and then they're like, why everybody's here, and they're like, Harley Quinn, she was a doctor, and I'm like, oh shit, yeah, she was a doctor.
and that's one that I don't want you to spoil though because like
No.
it's on its way. But Deceased is such a great
No,
title.
it really is like but like I was just saying, like they do there's some really funny dialogue that always revolves around Harley Quinn, and I think there was that turning point when they're like, okay, we gotta change how we write Harley Quinn. They've done some she's become a really like fun to read character. I only read her Joker War time, which was like an anniversary issue for her also, which had like a bunch of different stories, and it was fun. There was some really cool art, but really like the fact that they use her as like the main person in Suicide Squad and like Birds of Prey, like in the books too. She's like an anti-hero. She does really fucked up shit, and then the next issue she's like, oh yeah, I'll help you out. Like her whole role that she played in Joker War was really important and really cool. She was a badass. But I'm also waiting for that backlash because they burnt down Poison Ivy's garden, and something soon's gonna happen with. She because what she comes over right at the end of the Joker War, and she's like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, exactly.
She's like, "I'm
I just hope they don't they keep Punchline in the comics and don't bring it to the freaking mainstream media. That's all.
I don't think they can. The way they draw her is a little weird. Like I don't think the costume's that like recreatable. Where like Harley Quinn's original costume is like too ridiculous, and like when they remade her, it was way more recreatable with like the way they draw her now is like you can create that.
Hey man, no one thought that a talking raccoon and a tree would. No man, anything's possible. Anything is possible.
You're right. I can't argue with that. You're right.
The artistic inventors of Punchline is Jorge Jimenez, right?
Oh,
I don't know if you guys follow him on Instagram or anything, but there are a lot of people like cosplaying that make it look great. I think she will give it 2-3 years. She's gonna be mainstream or something.
unless they kill off her character.
And
nah,
I'm hoping,
better not. Better not. Better not.
I really, after reading this latest issue of Nightwing, I have a feeling it's one of those crazy theories that probably
She's
won't
gonna go
happen,
to
but
Bloodhaven.
She is gonna be
Blood.
Nightwing's Joker.
Bloodhaven.
Bloodhaven, yeah. She will become Nightwing's Joker, like, because they had a whole little intense rivalry at the end of Joker War. I don't really have any good solid evidence of why that, but
I agree with you, but you know what I think they should do, which they won't. I really think Red Hood needs another antagonist besides Joker, and I feel like Punchline could be a really good enemy for Red Hood to like spice up the entire, especially because now that he doesn't have like his sidekicks, like his team's gone, like
Yeah.
to spice, because she could go in and be like, well, the only reason you're anything is because of Joker. Like we're the same, and like use that to fuel his like rage.
Well, you got to think about also Punchline's whole thing is media. Like that's why I think Punchline is gonna become something, is because her whole shtick.
That was a really good story. You like,
Exactly. She's doing her podcast and all that stuff, and people follow her on the social media, which no one really that I can think of comic book wise really has like a social media following. You know what I mean? Or Batgirl, she's really
Batgirl's got
smart.
that. Batgirl, yeah.
Yeah,
The
that's what
only,
I'm saying. Batgirl is like smart and she's really technology wise, but she really doesn't have a following. I guess she did in like Rebirth, New 52 and stuff. But
the only the only other characters that I can think of that I guess initially when like during their first run in volume was the champions. Remember?
oh
mhm.
yeah, yeah, that's right.
You know?
I'm gonna throw it back, but New Warriors before Civil War,
Oh, that's right.
because they had a TV show.
They had a
So-
TV show. That's right.
So
I
that's what's caused the whole
Way
Civil
back in
War.
the day, man. That's way back in the day.
Yeah. So the
Right.
reason why Civil War even happened, the Superhuman Registration Act, was
Yeah.
because they had like a live streaming TV show where people would follow them around and they would fight villains and they would go whatever. And there was a bunch of villains hanging out. One of them being Nitro, who can blow up, himself.
Right.
And Speedball and a bunch of them ran in unprepared, like to get views, and it caused an entire town in Connecticut to blow up.
After Nitro went boom.
Went
Yeah.
boom, and the only
So-
person that survived technically was Speedball, but no one knew that, and he ended up becoming Penance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was a really big deal, because like they're like shtick for a while, and I think the viewership went down like of the issues, but like it was a
Yeah.
really cool like like MTV like look
That's
at
what it
one
was,
of those
yeah.
shows like Jersey
People.
Shore where like they follow
Oh,
them around
yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. But as
and-
far as social media, it sounds like Punchline again. I haven't read much on it, but yeah, it sounds like Punchline is really taking it into a new direction that heroes or other teams haven't. Again, the only other team that I can think of is Champions. When they were trying to push their initiatives and um, uh, recruit
How I do
bring people
my,
to their cause, all of that stuff.
this is how I do my connections and stuff. Like this is why I say like Nightwing and Punchline, Joker, whatever. My connections are amazing. So we're talking about Civil War, which is Marvel, which means we can talk about X-Men and we can talk about X-Men Swords. So I have not read personally X-Men Swords, but I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna let you guys talk about it because I have zero interest in X of Swords. But I'll be right back. It's gonna be like 2-3 minutes. But yeah, X-Men is another topic that we wanted to talk about, and I know that a couple of you have read X of Swords, so you have something really good to say about that, or bad. I don't know.
all right, I'll take it on because I've read the whole thing.
Okay.
I enjoyed X of Swords. I really halfway through I got kind of tired because I didn't know where they were going, because it felt like they were going a complete different direct. They build it up. They say, okay, we're gonna do this thing, like whatever. You have to get each of you have to get their swords, and we're gonna have champions, and they're gonna fight, right? And then you get to that issue where like they're finally gonna meet, and you're like, wait a minute, why does the X-Men only have 9 people? And I didn't realize that Gorgon had 2 swords.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that doesn't count. That's not fair. Like, how is he gonna fight? He's gonna fight 2 people, and then she made it such a joke. Like all those different competitions, like no one was really fighting, and all these rules were happening. It was so weird.
So I just like Matt and Carlo, did you guys read X of Swords? Have you guys read it?
I'm catching up. I've been reading House of X and Powers of X. I'm up to chapter 7. I'm up to the last trade paperback book.
Okay, so I have a lot to say about Extra Swords, but because you're catching up, or
Let's
No,
try
no,
not to
I'll
be
forget.
specific.
I'll
Let's
forget
be
about it.
as
Spoilers,
as
get out
as
of it.
vague as possible.
yeah, no, for sure. Well, Carlo, have you read at least House of X or Powers of X?
No,
No.
but yeah, that's right. We can talk about it.
Okay.
I can listen.
All right. Well, hold on. I'll wait for Matt to get back because
Sorry,
I.
I'm just getting me charging me. My computer's about to bust on me, but keep going.
Oh, okay, cool. So let me and Matt, tell me if this is a good Nick, tell me
Yeah.
if this is a good breakdown and summary.
Synopsis.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a good synopsis. But all right, so basically, what happens is that in ancient times, uh, during Apocalypse's reign, mutants lived uh, in a land called it was called oh my god, Nick,
Katuri or something? Something like that.
no uh what was it Nick,
Oh, I
tell me
can't remember. I
Is this that
I
plant, the plantation thing?
oh,
What's it?
Krakoa?
Cocoa, is that the one you're talking about?
No, it's another realm though, right? I know what you're talking about.
yeah, no, it wasn't it wasn't a realm, it wasn't on Earth, but they were
While you're trying to figure that out, I'm just gonna pop in and say, here's my Lone Star. It's beautiful. It's amazing. If you're Australian and you don't like it, that's too bad.
Gatorade. We've got to get some sponsors happening. Gatorade.
but basically they like mutants lived in one land, and one day enemies holding the Twilight Sword is what it's known, which actually goes back to Surtur of Thor,
Yeah.
mythology. But basically an enemy got held of the Twilight Sword, and they ended up breaking the mutant land, right?
Yeah.
And
Krakoa became Krakoa and what is it?
yeah,
Akoa or
yeah. So the mutant land became two separate like islands basically. Krakoa, which we know of now, and another piece of land called Araco.
Morocco? That's it.
Yeah, and in order to fight back the enemies that were coming from a dimension known as a man, what ended up happening is that Apocalypse and the mutants that he led with his horsemen, the original horsemen, they ended up fighting back this enemy, and to protect and save Earth, they um, they sealed away the land of Araco in the realm of Amenth, and Krakoa and Apocalypse ended up staying behind to basically lead the new generation of mutants, and hopefully one day be able to travel to this dimension known as Amenth to rescue the mutants, there, and the second half of the mutant land, which is Araco. And the whole premise of Exo Swords is the mutants that are sealed away in the realm of Amenth to ask for Apocalypse's help in being able to fight back the Horde and be able to come back to basically the earthly plane. And what ends up happening is that um, Saturnine, which is the ruler of Otherworld, and Otherworld connects all of the realities together. Basically, it's like the doorway for all realities to be able to, I guess, cross right between universes.
Hmm.
In order for the mutants in Araco to be able to cross over and ask for Apocalypse's help, they have to go through the Citadel, which is where Saturn 9, rules. And there's a tournament basically that ends up happening, where there's a prophecy that 10 swords have to be gathered, and it's just this whole battle that ends up breaking out basically. That's
All
like
right.
the whole premise of
So
Exorcist.
I think you did a really good job of explaining it. Because that's really what it is. But it's funny because the whole current Excalibur run like now that we got to this point, you realize that the whole run has led to this event the entire time because um obviously Krakoa is a living island that was like an original X-Men villain
Yeah.
in like the early X-Men days, which is the reason why uh you get like the second generation of X-Men like Wolverine, Nightcrawler and all of them because they were get defeated by the island and Professor X needs a second team to go and save them. So now it's cool that they've turned like an original villain into like a really like important piece of like the story. And it's just cool to see that like they plant these seeds and it opens up portals to all these different places. And he's been what's his name? Apocalypse has been experimenting with trying to open this up and realizing that the way to get to Amenth or to the other island is to go through Otherworld, which is like because that's in between all realities, and obviously in God, what's it called? Excalibur, because of Captain Britain's power, like they have that connection to Otherworld, and that's how it all like ties in, and it's really annoying though that a lot of the stuff the like interactions between how do you say her name? Saturnine.
Saturnine.
Saturnine. I hated that because I didn't know how to pronounce it. So she has this obsession with Captain Britain, and she's pissed that Betsy Braddock, which was Psylocke, is now Captain Britain, and her brother isn't, and she basically does this whole tournament to spite her. I feel honestly,
like that's what I feel that you could kind of summarize it in a nutshell as a real reason why she even devised this tournament. The whole event I think is like an attempt to mix the X-Men with the universal magical aspect of the Marvel universe, and I think that they're trying to bring back like true magic, right, to the Marvel universe, because aside from Doctor Strange and Scarlet Witch, there isn't really a big magic presence.
Well, you have magic.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, like the character Magic with a K, which was so there was one task where it was like a spelling bee. This doesn't give anything away. It's literally like one panel because there was one issue where there's like 1,000 different like challenges, and there was one where they're like, oh, spell this, and you're like, spell the word magic, and Magic's like, this is easy. She spells it like with a K, like her name, and she loses.
Oh no! Come on.
So
I was cracking up when I read that.
And honestly, me too. I mean, I enjoyed the event, but I do feel that it was dragged out.
It was dragged out. It did not need to be 22 parts.
22 chapters. I feel like 22 chapters was way too long, and really the whole premise of, again, Saturnine wanting for this to be a way for her to be able to like get with Captain Britain, because that was really her beef, really played down the seriousness of like the whole event.
I did like how he became Captain Avalon.
Avalon, yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that, and the whole thing about their other brother, the other Braddock, Jamie, how he became like this like super powerful, like he controls a whole land in Otherworld, and he's like the king.
How did the Exoswords end? Like what happened?
Basically, they have at the end there's like truce, and they have to. Someone has to go. One of each side has to go to the other side and stay there. And basically, Apocalypse is like, I'm going back. Like, I'm going with them.
So Apocalypse is gone?
What? So Apocalypse goes over there, and then Apocalypse has to decide who from the other side has to pick someone. So obviously Apocalypse's wife is the leader of this other side. and she picks Apocalypse. Apocalypse then picks the entire living island of
Morocco.
Araco to come back.
Nice. Okay.
So there was like a way. So now basically the islands are back together.
Sacrifice. Wow.
everyone-
Who would have thought? Who would have thought Apocalypse would have been like such a great guy?
He really isn't that much of a villain in this new like X-Men
Like-
writing because he's one of the big three. He's the big three.
None of the X-Men are villains technically. No mutant villains.
Sabretooth, because
Um,
he's currently in like 80 feet down underneath the island where he can't breathe because he
That's
wouldn't
it.
stop
That's
killing
his fault.
people.
That's his
I-
fault. Yeah, he's an idiot.
I think that the only real villains so far, right, that you can say are trying to undermine the X-Men, or they really have, you know, their own evil agenda, is still Mr. Sinister.
I was gonna say
And, yeah, and Sebastian Shaw.
Yeah.
I think. I mean,
So
dude,
my comic
think
shop got
they-
shorted than this week's issue of Marauders, and I'm so mad because they were finally going to confront him. And
because dude,
ugh.
Yeah,
'cause
what's happening with Shaw? I haven't been reading any of the other X titles, so like I didn't even know
he
was
he
up.
plotted against because they started what's it called, the organization, the Hellfire Club,
the
so
the Hellfire
trading club,
trading company.
trading company is
Yeah.
like the Krakoa's, like they do all the business. It's Emma Frost, Sebastian Shaw, and they had to pick a third seat on the council, who was going to be the Red Queen, right? The Red Queen or the Red King,
The Red King or
Queen.
Queen, basically.
and Sebastian Shaw brought back to life his son and wanted his son to be that last seat, but Emma Frost made it Kate Pride. She doesn't go by Kitty anymore.
He was like,
She's
"Hey,
Kate
Brett,
Pride. And the problem with her is that she couldn't get through the portals.
through the gates."
It wouldn't let her. Yeah, it wouldn't let her go through. So she had to get from the normal world to the island. She had to get on a boat and sail.
Do we know, like, has Professor X figured out why? Like,
It kind of plays in because she dies. Sebastian Shaw basically
well, thanks, man. No, I'm just kidding.
no, but like we all knew she was gonna come back. Sebastian, because that's the whole thing. Mutants can come back,
Yeah,
but
that's
no one
right.
knew if she was gonna be able to come back because she couldn't get through the portal. And Sebastian
gate.
Shaw literally went out of his way to kill her and cover it up, and he made deals with people that were like against Krakoa to help him like cover it up, and this whole big sham. And she comes back right before the X of Swords starts, so they couldn't figure out, the Five couldn't figure out why they couldn't bring her back, and basically it was they were making her all these different times, but the pod wouldn't open up because she had to phase through it.
Okay.
So it was an issue that had to do with her phasing. The thing that bothered me about that is that they played up from issue number 1 of Marauders the fact that she couldn't cross the gate, right? So like issue number 1, they introduced that whole, you know, issue, and they played it up, man, for what, 10 whole.
She still can't go through the gates.
No, I know, but what I mean is this whole revelation of she can't go through the gates, so it must mean that she's not gonna be able to be
Reborn. Yeah.
reborn. So it, you know, and then even the idea that maybe she's not really a mutant or what's going on, but they played this whole up for like 10 issues, and then when she died, what ended up, the whole reason why they were having a hard time bringing her back was that it had to do with her phasing. Like it just felt a little, I don't know.
Well, it kind of made sense. Like her powers, like no
Right.
one else.
I guess I was just expecting a bigger
Yeah.
secret, and maybe it's still gonna come into play because we still really don't know why she can't cross the gates.
I thought they did play it up though, because like they made it a really big deal in that issue. How like they couldn't bring her back and she wouldn't like wake up.
Yeah.
And like that hadn't happened yet, and they made like 35 copies of her. They wasted all these like pods and seeds
Yeah.
to make like all these copies of her just to have to get rid of them.
Yeah. No, for real. And you know what? Honestly, what extra swords boil down to is that the big ramifications is that Apocalypse is no longer around, right? And throughout the course of the event, there's seats on the Quiet Council that ended up being vacated
Yeah,
because what?
certain people.
Yeah, certain people. So it's created this like power vacuum,
Yeah.
which I think is just
Also, because up to this, there was no like limit to how they could be brought back to life. And now, something happened where if you died in Otherworld, you couldn't be brought back. They tried to do it with Rockslide, and Rockslide ended up coming back with like this like weird fragmented, and they're still dealing with this right now in the run with
yeah,
X Factor, which is I love how they're using X Factor as like the team that like deals
to
with all the
investigate.
problems that the five have, bringing back people.
Yeah, and
So when it comes to bringing people back, did they answer like? So I'm just thinking from what I know about it because I read the main X-Men title and that's it. But so Rockslide died. Fine,
yeah.
okay. They can't bring him back because he died otherworld. But what? That's because whatever they downloaded of him currently, they can't bring back the current Rockslide with all the knowledge that he knows from then.
Well, no,
Would they
because
be able
they
to bring
can't even
back
bring
Rockslide?
back a backup because apparently when he went into Otherworld and because he died there, Professor X can't get any backup on him
At
because
all?
he died there. His mind is there and he can't reach his mind.
Oh, okay.
So
That makes sense.
yeah,
Huh? That
so
sucks. All
yeah,
right.
so what and just going a little bit deeper on that, the whole reason why what's special about Otherworld is that since it's the cross section of all realities, is that if you die there, when they actually try and bring you back and bring that back up, what's happening is that um the rock slide or whoever or whatever mutant ends up dying because they're in that cross section of realities. When they try and bring you back, it's they're trying to bring back you at the cross section of all the different
All
yous,
of it
all
different.
these different universes.
Okay.
So when that happens, even though if they try and bring the last backup, you're gonna be a fragmented, like amalgamation of millions of different possibilities.
And that brings me to another question though, and I might have missed something or something along the way, but I thought Secret Wars destroyed all other realities. Like there were no more multiverse anything. It was just
Yes.
616.
So well, no, that was how Secret Wars
Mm-hmm.
ended. Is that the fact that there's universe 616 is now the prime universe, right?
Right.
That's how it ended. But this is where the Fantastic Four. I don't know if you remember the very last panel where the Fantastic Four. It's revealed that that they end up teaming up with the Molecule Man, and they go on an adventure of creating
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, Franklin. That's why he like has no more power because he's been making more universes and all that
making more universes,
shit. Okay,
and the Molecule Man has is the one that's been bringing them to creation basically.
that
So
makes sense.
this whole time since Secret Wars, there's just been new universes, new realities that have been um
That that actually explains a lot with Venom. Like when Venom went to that other universe in their current series right now
Mm-hmm.
with like 28, 29, and 30. I was like, I thought the Marvel universe was done. That 1601 was done.
yeah,
And
and exactly, and we and is anyone here reading the Miles Morales Spider-Man run by any
I've
chance?
read the
I
last two.
was.
Huh? You
I
were?
was, but I stopped.
Gotcha. Okay. Did any of you read Spider-Man 2 by any chance?
No, so I'm reading the Outlawed series, which required me to read out Miles Morales 18, 19, 20, and 21, or
Gotcha.
yeah,
Okay.
21 is what I've read. But
Well, well, uh, last I think it was like last year or something like that. Spider-Man 2, which
yeah,
is which is the mini event with Peter and Miles. Did anyone read Spider-Man, which was like, dude, that shit was like, I don't know, maybe like 5 years ago or something?
I'm glad you brought that up because I just read it. I went, you know what? I mean, this is a plug. Go to your local library and check out some books because I went to the library to vote and someone was like, yeah, I'm gonna go check out some books, and I was like, I don't have a library card, so I decided to get one. And then that's when I was trying to like build this 1 month later, and so I had like a flyer that I wanted to put up in the library. And while I was there, I was like, I might as well get my card, and I got it, and they were like, yeah, there's a comic book section over there, and so I was like, cool, awesome. So I went over there, and I found the like a volume of Miles Morales when he became Spider-Man, and in that volume, it also included Spider-Man One,
Oh,
like Spider-Man Volume One. So I was like,
that's cool, man.
so I
Yeah.
just read it.
Well, the follow up to that actually has to do with the Ultimate Universe.
Okay.
And at the end of Secret Wars, like all the realities, the Ultimate Universe ended up, like being destroyed. Spoiler here. In Spider-Man 2, you see the return of the Ultimate Universe.
That's
So,
cool.
Yeah. So we'll see when that comes back. But basically, that was the whole premise of X of Swords. I enjoyed pieces of it. More so because it really got to explore a whole different side of Apocalypse. But I felt that it was dragged out, man. Like 22 issues.
Yeah. So and like I've said before when we talked last week, like off stream, is that I did like how they were doing like almost 3 issues a week, and it wrapped into all. There's a lot of X titles right now. There's a lot. And the fact that it was able to tie in every single X title and every team and all these different characters and make one big story out of it was really cool and interesting. But it could have been 10 issues. It could have been 12.
So
Like
so Carlos, you read it. Nick, you read it. Matt, did you read it?
Right, I'm just reading House of Power of X, and yesterday when I went into the comic shop and I looked and I go, I'll go check out the X-Men and that. While you were saying, Nick, there's that many bloody things. I'm like, oh nah.
So
I don't know.
So you don't have to read them all. I would suggest the main title.
Which one's
New
the main
Mut-
title? Like, cause it's freaking.
I would suggest the main title, New Mutants, because it's a really fun title. The artwork's always really good.
X-Force.
X-Force was really like important, but I feel like in the last couple of issues it hasn't been that important. The Wolverine title though is really good so far. And X Factor is really cool because they're a detective agency again. They have a lot of really cool characters like Polaris, the twins from Alpha Force, North Star, and what's her name? Aurora.
Yeah.
And iBoy, which is like a really underrated character who's really cool and has some cool powers. Dakin, Wolverine's son, is a member. There's a lot of really cool Prodigy. If you guys know Prodigy, a lot of really cool characters.
How the hell is Dakin there? The last I remember of him was X-Men Blue, and I thought he went back to his world.
Well, but with Krakoa, all the mutants live there.
Okay.
They brought everybody there. It's the mutant nation. All the mutants are welcome. Everything's forgiven. Everyone's kind of living there. Blob's like a bartender. Like everybody lives there. Like they've brought all the cross sections, all the different New Mutants teams throughout the years. Everybody lives like the New Mutants live in like their own area. You have the guys from Ecstatics and all these different teams. Everybody's living there. The villains, the everyone's there. So
what would you rate X of Swords? 1 to 10.
1 to 10. The whole as a series, I give it like a 6.5. Where it's not bad at all. It was definitely cool. As a trade, it's gonna be awesome.
Like, I give it a
6.
A 6, and Nick, exactly like you mentioned, I give it a 6. If you pick it up as a whole trade or an omnibus, I kick it up to 6.5, 7.
Yeah, because together that's gonna be really good. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's an interesting story, and you know what it is. From what I've read so far, because I've only read X Force and Sword, which is like a new title that just came out of this. Excuse me. and it looks like the ramifications of what happened are gonna make like changing the story up, and that's gonna be really cool. So I think like as you know, as prolonged and dragged out as it was, I do think that it's gonna change up what's going on in the X universe and give us another spin.
Yeah, and you know what? Right now, like you were mentioning, they're all living together in Krakoa. They've all been like fighting for the mutant dream. They've all been, allies, cohesive. Extra Swords is really setting up actual conflict after this because of the power vacuum that's been created with the loss of seats on the Quiet Council.
Yeah.
Uh, but I will say this though, Matt, if you are gonna read some of the titles, and not all of them, the ones that I really would read are Wolverine and X
Mhm.
Force. There's a new villain that's introduced for Wolverine, and I think he's gonna be the next, you know, I don't want to say Sabretooth, in terms of being
With the next Omega.
That's the next issue, right?
in or the next Omega Red in terms of being
Oh,
the next
Omega Red. Oh, that's another one who's still a villain. Omega Red's a
yeah
vampire running
yeah
around.
yeah exactly. So I'm not saying that this new villain is gonna be iconic or legendary like that, but I think he's gonna be the next big thing for Wolverine because this villain is fucking cool, and you don't need any backstory. You don't even need to know what's really going on with Extra Swords to read the Wolverine and the X Force issue to get an introduction to this character, and he just seems like he's gonna be really really badass.
So I have two things. One, I just realized that Matt's wearing a New York Yankees shirt.
I noticed that too. I didn't want to say anything, but like,
Mate, we got your fashion here in Australia. You want to see? I've got about 50 hats. If you want to see all my snapbacks, I got New York, LA. I got them all, mate.
Hey
Well,
Matt,
what about
you guys
Texas?
drive cars over there and stuff?
Sorry?
It's like yeah. Do you guys drive cars over there? Do you guys
No,
have
we ride
like
kangaroos.
Kangaroos, yeah. I'm
No,
just
we
saying.
got we got the same stuff as you guys.
I'm just saying. Next time, please, please represent Texas. If not, then you're gonna have to get kicked out.
Every
But
video, I'll represent a state that you guys are from. All right?
thank you. You
I've got them everywhere. I've got the
you
whole
got
everywhere.
50 states
Everywhere.
to choose from. All right.
Too bad none of you's from Philly because I'm a Philly boy. All the teams I support from Philly.
Oh man. And number two was Carlo. So you didn't get a chance to read all these titles that we mentioned, but from the ones that you did read, because I know out of the six you read three. Did you read Flash, Once in Future, or Seven Secrets?
I
or
started
King in Black?
Seven Secrets, and I got to the end of issue 3. But as soon as this call is done, I'm gonna read the 4th and 5th, just because it's kind of like it starts off like Sweet Tooth returns with that like futuristic kind of who is this kid? But the thing that I didn't like was that they go back in time because it's like a BET movie. Like they go back in time, and it's like it messes up the timeline. But yeah, Seven Secrets is pretty
All right,
good.
cool. No, so I'm glad that you read Seven Secrets because that's the one I really want to talk about with Carlos, especially because he just started it as well. Did anybody else get to read that?
I didn't. That was on the bloody. I want to get it next week. No, but talk about it. Honestly, I have a peanut brain. I will forget about everything we talk about.
It's your boy Tom Taylor though, man. Like it's Tom Taylor.
Because we get them. They come through the international flights, the comics. So obviously, we know international flights happening. It
Just
takes very time to get here.
just go over to his house and ask him about
I
it.
was just gonna say that, man.
Like just so Carlo, I don't know if you know this, but Tom Taylor apparently is Australian and lives pretty close to Matt.
Oh, cool.
So
Yeah, I like
we're gonna have him stalk him.
like like one of the panels. It's like a bag, and it's obviously like a head. And
Yeah.
it's like, okay, cool. It's like that's interesting. And then a few panels later, they show like the headless body, like Jesus, like hung up on the gate. It's like, whoa, I wasn't expecting that. You know how like artists try to like do like dramatic things, like a cover of Department of the State where that dude's trying to eat the baby or about to eat that baby.
Oh, man.
So it's like they're just doing that to be
That
like
cover.
I mean, it got me. I bought I bought that book.
That cover, I think is gonna be sought after. Like in 30, 40 years, it's gonna be one of those like horror, covers that people covet, and that just become, those covers that you just have to have in terms of like a horror genre. That Department of Truth cover is it's one of the most savage covers that I've seen in a long time, man.
Yeah, it makes you feel uncomfortable, and I like that.
Very uncomfortable.
Nick, did you get a
I
chance
sneezed.
to go to? Did you get a chance to read Seven Secrets, Nick?
So I mentioned this to you earlier. I completely was like had my brain set to buy it when I went to my comic shop this week, but I got so like caught up because they didn't have Marauders, and I came the next day too and still forgot to buy it. This week when I go in, I'm gonna pick up because he has the back issues. I'm gonna pick up like the 5 issues. I'm gonna read it. I'm really excited, and one of the guys that I watch that on YouTube that does reviews, he reviews every issue. So I'm caught up in kind of what goes on, but you don't get the full thing if you don't read it yourself.
Right, right.
So
I would say, like, you're talking about the art, Carlo. You were talking about the art. I'm reading it here. Daniel D. Niculo. I definitely butchered his last name, but
is it
he does, like,
DIN?
yeah, it's DI space NICU.
I've definitely seen him do something else. So I think I know who he
I
is.
think he did a couple of the Power Rangers titles. Like
Oh, that might. I think yeah, he's a good artist.
yeah, no, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like his dynamic art in this series so far is just amazing. It really adds to the story. And Tom Taylor wants to make me cry every single issue, except for issue 4. I haven't read issue 5 yet, but issue 4 was the only one where there was nothing sad. It was just action on top of action and plot twist on top of another plot twist, and it's just I love Seven Secrets so far.
The thing I love about Tom Taylor, he really, and I'm because he's an Aussie boy, but he gets invested in characters. He really does he explains the details in the characters, and he gets you really loving the characters. That's what I find with him that he does a lot different than other writers.
Yeah, I think he does the same thing because he's writing Deceased. He'll like make you care about all these characters, and then he does like the craziest thing that you don't see coming, and then you put the issue down after you're done. You're like, wow, that really happened. That's really a thing.
I feel like he did that once, or when he first started out. This is definitely me, just a crazy theory, no evidence whatsoever. But I feel like when he first started out, he did this, and then someone was like, "Man, people really love that one character of yours," and he's like, "I'm gonna kill him. Watch this."
Oh,
It's like,
yes.
and then he did it, and he was like, "I'm gonna do this again."
When you were talking about issue number 4 just being action and action, that I don't know why it reminded me of I think it was like Bats mid 90s, where it's just Joker and Catwoman on the floor bleeding to death, and they're just talk throughout the whole issue, and it's neat how that story carries along, and then you get to the end of the book and you realize there was no action. But I'm finished the book, it's like there's just Joker and Catwoman talking, bleeding. It's like, wow, that was like a good story.
Are you talking about the issue like before the wedding or whatever? Like they were just
I don't think it was that far back, but you know what? It might be actually a different wedding because it does take. Oh, you know what? Right, because it is in the church.
Yeah, I think it's like the church where like Joker tried to kill her or whatever, and she didn't kill him because Batman or whatever.
But they're both all fucked up though, right? They're like
they were both
up,
like,
right?
Yeah, like I thought Joker was dead. Joker, honestly, if we're talking about this, Joker should have died in that issue because the very next time we see him, he's with Bane, and it's the whole city of Bane shit, and it's like, how did you survive that? The whole church falling on you or whatever. I don't even know what happened.
So because we were talking about Batman before, like what's gonna happen now? That whole last thing they do with Joker, like taunting Bane, who's like in Arkham all locked up.
Yes.
I know that there's something like after these like Mirror and Ghost, what's his name? Ghost Killer, Ghost Hunter,
Maker.
Ghostmaker. I'm pretty sure they're gonna do something with Poison Ivy and Bane. I have like a strong. I know they hinted at the poison ivy thing, but like something's gonna happen if Bane has another storyline where he like takes over again and he does it like kill, like he gets to like obviously we all know that Nightfall was all Bane, where he literally almost kills Batman. Then he does this thing where he snaps freaking.
My boy Alfred.
But you know what? I think that really revitalized the characters because it blew Damien out of his mind.
Yeah.
Like you saw, you read Teen
Like, if
Titans.
we want to talk about something like Damien, what happened? What's going on with him? If you haven't been reading Teen Titans, he's been like capturing villains and brainwashing them to become better citizens. But like that's still not very, not very cool of you, man. Like,
You're not reading Detective, right?
Boy,
no. What was that?
So-
What's that, Carlo?
I was saying, I thought you were gonna say like it's not very realistic. Yeah, like an 11-year-old boy like beating up all these bad guys.
Yeah, but it's not.
I'm
It's
not
just,
a fan of Damien too much.
Damien is a badass.
He's a genius. It's like they took everything about like the other three main Robins and they threw him in his body with the sheer aggression of like that Bruce like hides away and all the training from the League of Assassins and they just threw it all in there. So you have like the anger and like the brutalness of Red Hood. You have the agility and like skill of Nightwing. You have the sheer intelligence of Tim Drake and all like the focus and determination of Batman with all of Talia al Ghul's like skills and like
this is why I like him in Deceased because like he's an obvious Batman. Like
yeah,
with Constantine, he was like, "Oh shit, you are Batman's son." Like, "Oh fuck, I don't want to mess with you."
Yeah, I did like him in Batman Bad Blood, the animated movie.
yeah.
Exactly.
He was good in that.
I did watch that. That was awesome.
He
Yeah.
comes out in Batman Beyond.
Yes. Oh my God. The stuff.
Badass.
So that was cool. I know this is a sidetrack, but that's they're ending Batman Beyond, which sucks. But the last storyline they did, they had like that time period's Barbara, Dick Grayson, and Damien, and they all have to like team up. And now Dick Grayson's daughter is Batwoman.
Yeah. Which is badass.
Which is badass as hell. Which I'm so upset that they're ending the series and they just made her. What?
How is she? Is she fucking cool? Because
she's fucking cool. They didn't do a lot with her, but
not according to Manny.
Oh no! I said I don't know because I read Batman Beyond up to like 30, and then 35 is when they introduced her, and I was like, "Fuck you guys," because I was so mad that I dropped it.
Look, I will say this: I haven't read it, but her character design and just the covers,
it looks awesome.
So good.
So good that I picked up the issues. I have no idea what's going on. I haven't read them, and I rarely do just cover buys if I'm not actually reading a story, if I'm not like invested. But I had to get those covers. I have them.
First, I know her costume is like just like a blue version of, which is so cool because
cool.
Like Batwoman now is black and red, and Batman is black and blue, and Batman's black and red, and she's black and blue, and it's just so cool. And the power dynamic because Damian Wayne is a badass. You have Goliath. Is his name Goliath?
Yeah.
The giant. They say he's a dragon, but he's not. That's not a dragon.
It's a dragon, man. if Damien says so, it's a dragon.
It was so because they have like this. Damien's in charge of the League of Assassins, and his grandfather dies, and you know this guy who's basically like a really messed up Mr. Freeze wants to freeze the Earth and start over again, and it gets to the point where like everyone's like on Earth is like dying because it's so cold, and Damien and Goliath and the bats have to freaking fight, and it's so cool because Damien's character design is awesome. And he's running around with a katana slicing people.
Like didn't Terry go up in space or something?
Yeah, they all three of them went up in space while Dick Grayson was manning the controls.
Crazy. Yeah, no. I had to pick up Batman Beyond for the last 3 issues, so 48, 49, 50, because the whole Booster Gold, him going back in time and
Yes. So
meeting Batman, Bruce Wayne in his prime, that was awesome. I had to
that was
get that.
really cool. I'm really upset that they're ending the series. I know they're ending it at 50. It seems like they're doing that with a lot of the titles right now. They're ending them at milestones.
They say are ending. Besides like Batman, Superman, they're ending everything.
Mhm.
After Future State, it's going to be a whole reboot. They'll bring
Yeah.
back some.
Because what they just ended Teen Titans.
Yeah,
They-
Teen Titans got ended. Deathstroke got ended. Aquaman is going to end.
They say that, but they said that like months ago, and they haven't
I don't-
even like hinted towards it yet.
I don't think it's gonna be a reboot. Like it's gonna be like the Generations thing, where like now because of what's going on with Perpetua and the Darkest Night and all that, as soon as that is done, then Future State, so whatever. But then they're gonna. I feel like this is my theory. They're gonna bring back people like the fan favorites. So let's just say Prime Superman or whatever. I think that they're gonna make it to where all continuity is up for grabs. Every
Mhm.
story is available to start talking about, and it'll maybe be like a number one issue. It's not an
So
actual
I'm gonna mention because you brought up the whole Perpetua thing in death metal.
Yeah.
This past week you got that the one shot came out. Last stories.
Yeah, last story, the multiverse.
I didn't realize it's in America here. It's a $10 book.
Yeah, it's a $20 book here, mate.
It's but it's huge. When I saw that, I was like, "What?" And then I saw it. It is a trade paperback.
Oh crap!
It's a trade. It's basically they haven't done that with any of the one
I get it.
shots. You have it. It's so thick.
I'm excited for the next death metal thing, which is like the last 52. Like,
There's like 3 or 4 more. I don't. They're jamming. It's supposed to end next month, like the first week of January. It's so thick. I don't know where I put mine, but
Yeah, $10, $20 for us.
dude,
Matt,
it's
Massive. It's massive.
Matt, I still can't get over the fact of the prices that you gotta pay to be a fan.
But this was my next one to read, so it's massive.
I don't know,
They
it's
charge you twice the
This
price.
one-
I picked up when I bought the last Ronin for $15. It's like a $10 book, but they said, oh, but we're gonna charge you 15. It's like okay, but now I see the prices. It's like okay, I'm glad I got the last.
well, yeah.
Ronin.
I picked up a second printing this week.
Yeah, I've got it. I'm getting that next week. There's
Dude,
seven.
it's so worth it.
Yeah,
Hold
he's
on,
getting.
so
he's
Carlo,
getting-
Carlo, you got the first print for $15.
Right in San Francisco, there's a
Man,
shop.
get out. We're gonna kick you
Oh,
out.
you're lucky you got the last one. And then it's yeah, it says 10, but let's do 15. It's like
But it's,
I didn't know
what,
retail.
do you have? What cover A?
Wait, so hey, so
Market.
speaking of that on premiums on issues in your guys' comic shops, if it's on your pull list and like you know the last Ronin at my comic shop, they were also selling issues for $15 as well. But if books are on your pull list, does your guys' shops still upcharge you, or
No.
because the fact that you're a subscriber, you get it at
My shop doesn't upcharge me on anything, and if I want if I want a variant, I just gotta let them know which one, and they order it for me.
Yeah,
So the
my
only-
guy's really good.
the
He,
only on my end is like so because I do it online.
oh that's
They
right.
don't charge me for anything. They tell me whatever the online price is, and that's what I get. But like any incentive covers and stuff like that, it's up front. Like I have to put a bid of like I'll say you have to put a minimum bid of $15 if you want this book. And let's just say most people put that $15. Even if I put like $40 for some reason, like I want to be safe. If I put more than $15, they'll give me that book for 15. You know, even though I put 40. But it's never I'm never upcharged for more than cover price on the day of.
Okay, cool. That's good.
And my guy, he I've been seeing him for like 10 years. I go there every Saturday for 10 years. So he hooks me up. But the thing is, because I used to work at a sports shop, I still got connections. I still hook him up at the sports shop. So he hooks me up with the comics. So when they come out, even the cover price, I do give them a bit cheaper than what it is. But even if they go up, because I remember X-Men Gold, that issue where
With
handwriting or something, and it got pulled off.
yeah, that like
the anti-Semitic image.
Yeah.
writing.
Yeah, it was
Yeah, I
some
got
wrong. I
that.
can't remember. and it got put off the shelf, and everyone like was selling them $50-$60. He gave it to me for cover price. I got it for cheaper cover price, but
Does he know that you're a Yankees fan?
he's a San Fran. Hey, Carlo, are you from San Francisco? Because he's a San Francisco fan. He's a massive San Francisco fan. But no, he knows I'm a Philly man. He knows I'm a Philly.
But yeah, with this thing being like, because none of them have been that like expensive or this big. There's like, it's one of the
You know
ones that
what,
has
too?
all the different stories, but it's got
The
1,
Titan.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 stories plus an outro.
Yeah. And it's
Um,
got all the main, like the Titans, Green Lantern, Wonder Woman, Green Arrow, and Black Canary, Aquaman, the Bat Family, and Superman. Man of
And then-
Tomorrow.
have you read it yet, Matt?
Nah, mate. As soon as we're getting off,
So
I'm getting
the
lunch,
first
getting
the
it.
first
I'll be-
story,
I'll be right
the
back.
fourth story, is what also ends it. So they finish the first story at the end, which is really cool. But like they basically break, dude. It's
I like
all the
cover.
artwork was amazing. Every story except the Aquaman story I really enjoyed. Like I would rate all out of 10. Every single story got like between a 7 and 8. Except
When does Death
Aquaman.
Metal end? When does Death Metal end? Is it January?
The first week of January, which there's still like 3 or 4 more of these things, which I don't understand.
Yeah, no, I've collected all the one shots.
I can't even put this. I can't even put this in a bag with the cardboard back. That it won't fit.
No, of course, I'll get it in there. I'll get it in there.
I tried. I tried so hard.
Hey, like, so if you guys can with death metal, because I started reading death. You know what? I actually finished death metal, like the first
first
event.
one.
Yeah,
Dark,
first one.
Dark Knights, I think it's called Dark Metal.
Yeah,
or something.
yeah. Dark Knights. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, metal. Just
Metal. Yeah.
Metal. Yeah. So I read the first one. I mean, I love the artwork of course. I mean, you know, Snyder writing, all that good stuff. But can you guys give me a rundown on the whole aspect of like the different metals, and how does that like really work? Because that was, I'm not gonna lie, that kind of threw me off. You know, the fact that there's these like metals that somehow when they come together, they open a portal, right, to the alternate, you know, like what is it, parallel universe?
Do you follow Doctor Who at all?
Doctor Who?
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
Do you know about that? So do you know how like they explain time travel?
Yeah. It's kind
That's
of
exactly it. That's exactly the same you know,
it's the
just
concept.
things and stuff happen, metals get together, and things happen. Man. That's it.
Okay. I just want to make sure that there wasn't anything else that I was missing. You know, like
This isn't as good as the first one though. This I'm not really enjoying it as good as Metal.
The first
Really?
one- The first
Yeah,
one was so,
I don't know.
small. It was such a small.
you know what I think it is for me? I think it's that there are a lot of tie-ins and it's kind of annoying, but what they're doing with Wally West is what really is keeping me in.
Mhm.
Yeah, I just don't know.
I
I don't know.
just want Wally West to get back to his prime. Like he's been shit on.
But you know what? I think after this they could, because you know Future States is going to do some weird shit with Wally and I'm not happy about it.
Yeah.
But they brought his kids back. So that's like the first step. His kids exist and are alive, and that means that when he eventually gets back, and also with that last stories thing, he gets reunited with the like all the different Titans, and they accept him back, even though like he killed Arsenal, which we all know wasn't his fault.
Wasn't
You're right.
Arsenal in Red Hood?
He
Yeah.
he was, and in the recent issues, they went back in time.
Okay.
Now,
All right.
what is it about? What is about this run, Matt, that you don't like as much as like the first one? You were
It's
gonna-
dragging. It's dragging.
It's huge. Yeah. Like
Oh, it's a drag.
I'm one of those people. If it drags too long, like when I rate it, I'm not really rating it. I'm just like just trying to get.
It's kind of like at the beginning, right before this stream, like how Carlo came in and we were asking him questions, but his connection was just so bad, like he wasn't answering. It was like a build up. That's how death metal is. It's like
It's a
all right,
build
man,
up.
what's gonna happen?
My thing is like because like I said, next week I think issue 6 comes out. Then you have Secret Origin, and then you have 52,
Yeah.
And then the first week of January, you get issue 7, and then it ends. And that same week, you get like the first like 4 or 5 issues of Future States. So anyone that is gonna read Future States has to read that last issue. Otherwise, they're not gonna know what the heck is going on.
And the other thing, like the other difference between metal and death metal is like, so metal had a bunch of tie-ins as well, right? But those tie-ins were more of like, hey, this is Red Death. This is how he became Red Death. This is how this person became the bad version of whatever they are. But if you didn't read it, it didn't take away from the story at all. You just met them at a different time. This one, you have to read every single tie-in or you're lost. You don't know what's going on between one.
There's a few exceptions, but you're right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's
I think they're introducing like I thought they with metal. Yeah, I went cool for having all these alternate Batmans, and now with metal, death metal, it's like fuck. We'll just make any kind of ultimate Batman. We'll fucking make a phone Batman. Like
they made a Gotham. They made a Gotham Batman, like a whole city Batman.
It's just all right, mate. It went good with the first run. You don't need to just force any kind of Batman.
I think it's because the whole Dr. Manhattan power thing mixed with him, how he's now bending realities and doing all sorts of weird shit. It makes sense.
That, though.
Yeah, you're right.
Like, the whole other Batman were before he became that Darkest Knight or whatever.
Yeah.
You had Adam. You had the Batman mixed with the Atom. And he got ran over.
Yes, Bat Adam. That was really funny.
It was a car. There's a car Batman. A Batman that's made.
The Batmobile. His consciousness gets put in the Batmobile.
All right. Do you feel like it got to the point where it was no? It was almost like or like a parody, almost in a way, kind of.
Don't get me wrong. Like, still read it. It's still good. It's still like it's still holding up.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just like it's asking for so much. Whereas in death metal or metal was just like, hey, if you just read our 6 issues main titles, you're good. Whereas this is like you have to read all of this. It's still good.
You know what the cool thing is? Eventually, this is gonna make a really cool omnibus.
Yes. Yeah.
Like this is gonna be like someone like in like 5 or 10 years is gonna get this as like an omnibus form, and that's how many issues it's going to be that it can actually fill an entire omnibus, and someone's going to be like, this is the sickest thing I've ever bought.
And I'm going to be over there with my cane and be like, oh, I was there when it happened.
Trash.
And you know what? It also has some of the coolest covers.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing. Like, this is going to, and I like how it, like, the things that happen in the actual, like, DC universe, like, affect the tie-ins and everything, but it generally isn't affecting anything outside of itself yet.
Mm-hmm.
Like they talk about, like Nightwing's himself again, and he has his memories back.
Yeah,
but like none of that has affected any of this. And there's something like Matt, you're gonna read the Bat Family story, and you're gonna be like, what the fuck? Because like, Manny, you finally read Nightwing.
Yes. Yes,
so
it was great. It was sad, but it was great. Like,
don't read this tie-in because it's gonna make you more upset. Because now they're just doing fan servicing at this point, and I think it's stupid.
I'm gonna do a Twitch live stream of me just saying what the fuck, and then, like that's it.
Dude, everything that I read your whole post about that Nightwing issue, and I agree with everything you said. Like they're taking everything that about Nightwing. It was like, oh, Nightwing is everything that Batman can do, and he's saying, no, you don't have to do it this way. You can do it the right way. Alfred raised me to do it this way, the right way. And they just said at the end of the issue, like, fuck it, like, Batman's right. And he just fucking goes like, and lies.
And like that's the thing. Like I feel like he could have said the reason he lies to her is because, again, like if I lie to her or if I tell her the truth, like, hey, I remember everything and I feel everything the same way about you, but if you continue with me, the chances of you dying are like 80% or whatever.
Yeah, but he just fucking lies and pulls a complete Batman. It's a Batman move out of all that character development all these years, and we finally have Nightwing back to normal after like 20 issues? Like 30 issues.
What's the point of even pursuing a relationship with Batgirl or Starfire? Like, yeah, they can defend themselves, whatever. But what's the point of pursuing a relationship at all? Like, even in real life, like myself. I have my wife. If I was ever worried that something could happen and it would be my fault, like then I would never be in a relationship. Like that. I would never like. No, I don't want ever to be the cause of anybody's pain.
Look,
Like, okay,
man, like touching on that, that is one of the biggest pet peeves that I have in any superhero relationship. If you look at the majority of superhero relationships, why do they fail? I don't want to hurt the other person.
yeah,
I don't want to put the other person in danger. It gets to the point where it's like, man, I can't. It's frustrating, and it just becomes unbelievable, and it becomes a gimmick.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I hate it. I hate
everyone does it. So
exactly. I hate it when something becomes a gimmick to the point where the first thing that you think about when there's a new relationship that's starting is like, I know exactly where it's gonna end. And
All right,
I
so
hate
we got a great tie-in right now. Manny's gonna love this because the one relationship that gimmick makes work and fuels the character is the Flash.
yeah,
Because
for sure.
that Iris, like him needing to protect Iris and being worried about Iris, fuels his character.
But the thing is with the Flash is like he can literally be anywhere within a second. So it's like, oh shit, Iris is in trouble. He's there.
Yeah,
But of
but
course,
literally,
so
there's
that's
so many
tie into
storylines where like
yeah.
Barry Allen like only gets through it because he realizes he needs to save Iris and like the whole Iris is depending on him and he does it. That or Wally, he's like, fuck, I gotta do this for Wally.
I think that we're so talking about the Flash. We're gonna go ahead and go into the Flash. I think every one of us agrees that this guy ain't no Joshua Williams.
So this last issue that came out this week, it's not the same guy that did the last 4 issues.
Yeah, because it's like they ended the story, right?
Yeah,
So,
but I thought he was gonna do like a run. I didn't think he was just gonna do a story arc.
Flash is gonna be fucked for the next.
I don't think he has.
Sorry, but I hate to be a hater, but
I don't think he has a regular writer yet. As
Yeah.
of right now. Nick did that little tiny arc, and it was so. I will say that like, Doctor Alchemy was a surprise. Like he's Doctor Alchemy, but he was a welcome surprise. He was able to come up with some stuff, but
it
all
did
in
make
all,
it
like,
made a good arc.
yeah,
You
and
know,
the artwork is awesome. Except
so
with
it's 3 different artists. I didn't realize that.
I didn't know
If
that.
the first book was Henry, the third book was Basari, and the second and fourth book was Conrad. And I really like Conrad's work.
The best one out of all of them.
I just think they're rushing it. It's just like
Nothing will compete with this though.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't compete
But
with this.
What I'm pissed about the Flash is like right now at the very end of the Joshua Williamson run, he said maybe we can go ahead and put Barry's mother to rest. Like we don't have to worry. We don't have to make that a plot point. Basically, talking to the readers of saying like let's just not always focus on Barry's tragedy to create a story. And the very first thing with the new writer is they stole my ring, which is about my mom and my dad. Come on, man, get out of here with that. Like we don't want to talk about it. At least
I
with
don't.
me.
You know what? I get what you're saying, but I feel like that was like it wasn't like drowning out like the other stuff was about his mom. It was kind of just like, oh, the ring is sentimental because of this, and we've never had a reason why, because he doesn't need the ring anymore.
Right.
So we never had a reason why he still.
Can Barry make his own? Like, so I know that Wally can make his own suit with the Speed Force, but did Barry ever learn that?
I think Rebirth. I think it's just that he's so fast that he's able to do it now. Like he's able to like just change somewhere. But like, you know, none of them really rely on the ring. Like you don't ever see him like really need the ring.
Yeah.
The ring's just kind of part of his character, and you never knew why.
Yeah.
And
well,
that whole
at first it was always the suit,
but now like, you know, it means something more, and I thought they added value to that. That was like a big character building thing. Like, you know, you're doing 4 issues and you really got to see like, okay, the ring, and then you get to see characters that weren't like really like Dr. Alchemy is like a very like low level like rogue, and they really built him up like as like a troubled character. Like now the stone has taken over him, and now he doesn't even have a say in what he's doing.
Yeah.
And I thought it was a cool thing. This last issue that came out this week was
Fine, the winter.
With Endless
pain in the.
Future?
I'm not about the crossover they're doing. I don't think they should be doing this crossover while death metal's happening.
Yeah, that makes
'Cause
sense.
I think it's a waste of time. Because
I'm
you
actually enjoying
because
it.
what
I'm actually enjoying it.
I think it's cool,
What's
but
going on? What's going on with him and Black Adam? I haven't read that issue yet, but like,
that was cool. I did like how they wrote Black Adam. He has like I haven't caught up with him. I didn't know that he has like his own like, is it a country or a town or, and all these people are allowed to have like a sanctuary there, and just a bunch of villains. Like,
did you read the Doomsday Clock?
Yeah.
yes, okay.
So that did kind of bring it into it, but then again, like, is Doomsday canon? I don't know.
Nah, that's not
No, I
usually-
think it is, because you wouldn't have all this stuff with Dr. Manhattan.
Yeah, that's
'Cause
true.
all the stuff that's making
Bad job with that, like connecting it wise, because like now, because like the fact that Generations went down, they're not doing Generations anymore. That I'm pretty sure that's what Doomsday Clock was building up to.
I reckon Doomsday got changed halfway through it. I reckon the story got changed. That issue after Superman realized, I think it was like issue 7 or 8. I reckon after that it got changed.
Yeah,
Because,
that makes
yeah,
sense.
I reckon.
Wasn't there like a really big delay in between some issues?
Yeah, there was like 3 months, 4 months
like-
delay.
Like massive, right?
Yeah, it was a long time.
Did you guys ever read the story arc with Batman and the Flash and the Button?
Yeah, that was my favorite, man.
That was
Yeah.
awesome.
That was good.
Yeah, I love the Lenical covers that they brought out on those, man.
That was cool. That was a great way to introduce the Watchmen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, no, for sure. I liked
That's
it.
when Thomas Wayne came back into the.
Yeah,
That was
into
when
the
Batman-
continuity. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, the Thomas Wayne returning there with the Button, that would have been amazing. That would have been great, whatever. But then the fact that he returned with the City of Bane storyline, I was pissed. That was just like, you ruined that character.
Mate, talking about that Thomas Wayne, have you got this yet?
Oh my God, it's so good.
How good is it?
I don't
How
plan to
fucking
read
good is
it,
it?
but I want. But y'all are building it up
This
so
is
much.
one you have to get. If there's
You
any
got
other
if you read the Flash, you have to, because they basically take it's basically the animated movie and the actual like book, and they just, instead of Barry like getting to the point where he gets to like get his powers back, he just dies, and now it's reverse Flash. It's like, hey guys, and he fucks shit up. The entire story gets fucked up because he's just running, and at the end, he's like, wait, I don't have to be a bad guy anymore. Like, what? You just fucked everything up. He fucks the entire world up.
I'm like being stubborn about the whole Dark Multiverse storyline.
Nah, they get him.
I'm
Get
being
him, bro.
stubborn, and
I'm not getting them all. I didn't get the Wonder Woman one. I don't think I'm getting the other one after this. But the first one, the Hush one, was really good, and this one was really good.
The Wonder Woman one, I read that last week. It wasn't.
Yeah, I didn't get it. I didn't have it. I like though that they open up the books with Tempest Fognot, because he was like a really big. Did you read Flash Forward?
Yeah.
That I was like, okay. And then when they brought him back for these, I was like, oh sweet, like he's still a thing.
The Judas Contract one is really good as well. Get the Judas Contract one.
Oh, did that come out already, or is that an older one?
That was old. That was in the first series.
The
of
first
them that
series.
came out.
All right, I gotta get that
Judas
because
Contract was fucking. That was good.
Anytime I see that Tempest Fusionaut, whatever his name is, I get like a little bit of hope that Sideways will come back. Like, I really want Sideways to come back. He was my favorite.
Isn't he?
Like the
He's still around though. He was in
he made a
Young Justice.
cameo appearance, man. Like, that was like, it's like, did he even have a line in that?
Yeah, he had a bunch of lines. He was really cool.
That's good. I'm glad to hear that for sure.
I don't know, because they ended the series, dude. They ended that series, and that's where they were doing a lot of weird shit, like weird characters, you know. Ginny Hex and Teen Lantern and uh the Wonder Twins were there.
Not talking about weird characters. Did you see Starfire's new daughter?
Oh
No,
my god, I don't know what to think about that. Like, I
Wait,
don't
hold on. Sapphire
What?
has a daughter?
Oh
understand.
wait, go do your research on that. You flip.
I don't think it's canon. I don't think it's canon.
I am so.
Nah, it's one of those the teenage
The
kind of
young
novels
adult,
that
yeah,
they're doing. Yeah,
yeah.
it's that, but still, fuck.
I don't know. I mean, I understand like the PC in me. Like, I understand what's going on, why you're doing what you're doing, but at the same time, like, why? Why are you doing this? This is not. This makes zero sense. I don't know. I don't like it. Me personally, I'm not gonna read it. But
Nah, I don't read any of those
it's a
teenage.
young
That's
adult.
what they apparently they're gonna in the future. What they want to do is just bring out books, and they say from what I was speaking to the comic guy, he reckons DC is gonna just drop their comics, and it's just gonna be books, just bringing out trade paperbacks.
Oh
I
shit.
don't
That's
think
it.
so. I don't think they will because people buy. There's so many people that buy single issues like weekly.
Yeah, but it's
That
more that AT&T. It's more of the money thing. They've because they took on Warner Brothers with fucking that much debt. They've got to start cutting things, and well,
but you know what the thing
and
is?
think, well, comics don't make them that much money, you know what I mean, compared to the movies.
And do
But you know what I'm saying, and what I'm thinking is that the whole thing with the trade paperback is you buy the single issues and then you have an incentive to get those afterwards if you miss them. If they're just trade paperbacks, you're gonna have nobody that it's gonna be like, oh, like I really like this series, buying its single issues. I'm gonna read back the backlog in trade paperback. It gives you incentive, like because then they're
But
gonna buy single issues and the trades. If they just
Yeah.
do the trades, you're gonna lose out on that the income they could be making off of the single issues.
but you know what though? That's a very small percentage of the overall like collecting community, man. Um,
Yeah.
trade the trade paperback business is getting a lot bigger than what it used to, but but there's not that many of us that collect both the single issues and the trade paperbacks, and also speaking to what you mentioned, man, in terms of them going to books, um YA, like um like lines and the YA market, it's huge, man. Like if DC can capitalize on something like that where they can release books and sell the amount of copies that a fraction of what a Harry Potter title sells, or what any of those kinds of lines sell, man, the money is there.
The problem with that though is that people grow up just like, so you said Harry Potter, all right? So
No,
like
no,
Harry
for sure,
Potter,
of
as
course.
people grew up, Harry Potter grew up as well, and like it became a darker story and whatever, right? It was no longer a book for a 12-year old. It was a book for those same 12-year-olds that grew up with Harry Potter. You know what I mean?
Right.
So with these young adult books,
But the format though, the format in terms of trade paperback, like I think I think that it could be
You know
more
what they could do,
profitable.
which I could see, is them taking the the idea of manga and how they release the volumes in like bigger
volumes,
like book like things,
Yeah.
where they could be doing that.
Well, I heard because they were going to start distributing through Penguin. Is it Penguin? You know the
Yeah.
Penguin
Um,
books, which
yeah.
yeah.
And the I think that what DC has done though is they've opened up the door, because I mean, what is it? Diamond. I mean, you
Me and Matt
hear
were talking about this earlier.
you
Diamond
hear
sucks.
you hear retailers, you hear collectors, and you
Oh,
hear
my retail
everybody.
hates them.
And it's been going, and this discussion has been going around for years. The diamond problem, the diamond, monopoly problem, the direct market problem, right? I think that what DC has done, whether some people like it or not, they've opened the door to disrupting the way that comics are, number one, distributed, and number two, like again, the possible formats of how they're published. And
they opened Pandora's box.
they open Pandora's box, and that's the reality. You guys remember the rumor that was going around for a while, saying that DC's wanting to get rid of their complete, like publishing line, and they're gonna sell off, DC to Marvel.
Mhm.
That I feel obviously that was way, that was blown out of proportion. But I think that a lot of the moves that DC is doing, I think that we haven't seen like, you know, the last of those changes, especially with all of the restructuring that they've been
Like,
doing.
they clean house.
They
Clean
exactly
house.
they clean house, man. Like they be fucking cleaning house. So you tie that with, again, how they're changing their distribution. I don't know, man. It's just, you know,
So
it's
with
interesting.
all
At
these
least
with all these changes, I'm
it's interesting.
sure that the like the indie publishers are very happy. Like Boom, which
Oh,
brings you
Boom has been killing it. Boom has been fucking killing it.
so that brings me to Once in Future. Have you guys did any of you have a chance to read it?
We only
Not
get it
yet.
in trade paperback here. He doesn't get him in the issues.
Alright, so none of y'all have read Once in
We'll
Future.
hold up. We'll hold up. We have to hold up.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Yeah.
So
He's ordered me the trade paperback, the first one.
that
Okay.
was the last. So that was the last one that we had to talk about. I'm actually very surprised that we got through all our list. Congratulations.
Wait.
Back, you know.
If it's cool, I want to touch on King and Black though. Did anybody read King and
I
Black?
picked it up. Yesterday, and I thought, fuck, I don't know what's going on in any of this, so I put it down.
I haven't read it yet. It's in its way. It's on its
Dude,
way.
fine.
Leave it alone.
Fine. Next, meetup. But
Yeah.
I just want to say, I haven't been this hyped for an event in years.
Do I need to
I,
read
I,
anything?
I have a question. Do you think if I just read the main title and the stuff, you think I can follow along if I just read Venom and
Yes.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah. Yes. Well, the way that issue 1 opened up, you don't need to really know much.
okay.
You don't. And what's amazing is that at the end of the first issue, the summary that they provide, not only is a summary provided of, like the background of why this event's even happening, but what's done beautifully is that there's a timeline at the end of the
Ooh.
comic of when all these events happened, and they give you like historical years and dates. I haven't seen that happen in a comic book ever. Like, honestly, ever.
I'm honestly just scared that it'll be like Death Metal where you have to get every time.
So what I've read so far is people saying that the tie-ins so far that they've read have nothing to do with
They don't.
anything.
They have nothing to do with.
That's the
They-
same exact thing that's happening with Outlawed, where like Outlawed has the tie-ins with Power Pack, New Warriors, and Miles Morales, and none of those other titles have really anything to do with the Outlawed things at all, other than the fact that they're teaming.
Yeah, but you know what? That's, to me, that's events. I mean, that's just the history of events. Like when have tie-ins really tied in? Not very often.
Death Metal.
Like, oh yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
But aside from Death Metal, tie-ins are mostly just,
Joker War they tried.
Yeah, they gave it an old college try, right? Like,
But for this, I haven't been this hyped for an event. I mean, guys,
I'm excited for it. For
in
sure.
years. When
Do
I
I need
say,
to read anything, or can I just jump on it? Because I
Dude.
was thinking.
Yeah, I want to jump on it. I'm gonna pick them up next week. That and Seven Secrets. I really want to pick those up.
guys, honestly, jump on it. Look, when it comes to like comic collecting, I don't buy multiple covers. I really don't. I don't. I try and stick to the issue that I like, the variants that I like, and especially with events, I don't collect events, to be honest with you. Like, for the most part, I will read them in trade paperback, or I'll just read the main storyline. But fucking every variant, every issue that I could get my hands on, dude, got it.
Very
Because
nice.
King in Black reads like a blockbuster movie, and what I mean by that is from the very first splash page that you get, you feel like you're in an alien invasion movie.
I like not to
The
give you a
scene.
spoiler or anything. I did see like a preview of Sentry going up against Noel, and like the Sentry's like, hey, don't.
That's gonna be sick.
No,
No,
Sentry basically said like, hey, guy, I'm sorry that we have to do this. Don't take this personally, but I'm about to take you down. And then Noel just straight up one shot him, just like shut the fuck up, like. And
dude,
that's amazing. Like the fact that Sentry just got shot down like that, I
bro,
was like, oh shit.
bro, like, dude, Noel. I mean, I get, yeah. You guys have seen that preview. Noel basically says like, get out of here.
He
Like,
says, my name, I'm
you're a
Noel.
fly.
I'm Noel.
Like you're a fly. You're irrelevant. You mean absolutely nothing to me. Nothing. And when I say that, I'm telling you, it feels like you're watching an alien invasion blockbuster movie. It's just like high octane, the scenery, the artwork.
That's how I felt when I
And,
originally read World War Hulk. Like
dude,
everything is just overdone.
yes, everything is just like fucking high octane. And you know what? You feel the gravity of the situation, because in a lot of events, shit's happening because stuff's happening. I mean, whatever, and like the heroes get through it. You're reading through it, like, again, stuff happens, but you feel the gravity, you feel the tension, like, you know, fucking Noah's coming, and we gotta prepare. So yeah, man, you guys gotta read it. It's probably the most hyped that I've been for an event. So I just wanted to throw that in there.
Can I just say this is the longest running build up I've ever seen for a storyline?
Yeah.
Because it's been like 2 years they've been talking about this.
Yeah.
Like they've been putting it on books. Nola's coming for like 2 years.
It's been 2 years already.
It feels like it. I might be wrong.
I know that a long time ago I talked to you guys about it, but like
It's
a
been a
long
year.
time ago
No,
I saw
year,
that
year.
whole thing about Iron Man flying through the sky and then just everything goes black and he dies or something. I don't know what. That was a long time ago.
Yeah, dark.
Oh yeah,
Dark Ages. That's called.
Dark Ages. Yeah, it's coming. Yeah,
That was
yeah,
meant to come out this year in July, but it got
Yes.
pushed back.
yeah.
Oh, so that has nothing to do with King in Black?
No, nothing.
That was on the free comic book day on the X-Men, the free comic book day.
Yeah,
Yes.
no, and you know what? Actually, that story takes place outside of like continuity from what I remember reading. It's
All
like
Tom Taylors are always outside of continuity.
Yeah.
He always does something
Yeah,
you don't expect. Mate.
exactly. So
Oh god.
it's basically Thomas Taylor's answer to himself in Marvel
Yeah.
Yeah.
for Deceased. That's kind of what getting at.
he's playing like tennis or chess against himself. He's like, all right, what else can I do? And then he
Yeah,
goes over to
exactly,
Marvel.
exactly.
They need to just do a Tom Taylor DC universe and a Tom Taylor Marvel universe. I'm telling you, because he just does all the unexpected
Awesome.
things.
I don't know how they're gonna end Deceased, but I can't wait for them to do another one because he's so good.
You know what? It's funny that you say that because I am of the opposite. Like I agree with you. It's so good, but they need to let Deceased die. Like they brought it. They did Deceased. They did Unkillables. Now they did Dead Planet. Like just let it go.
That's what they
This-
did Injustice. They kept pushing out Injustice more and more and more, and it just got stale. They should have just leave
Yeah,
it.
but you know what? What happens if they have a cure and this becomes like a side universe?
That'd be great. And
they have to
awesome.
rebuild it.
Let it fester for like a year or two, and let people think about it, and let people like get built up and build their own selves up, and then bring it back. But like I want them to give it a break. You know.
I don't know. I
Honestly,
just really like seeing John Kent and Damian Wayne as like the triad, like the Trinity. I love it, and I can't get it because it's once a month. So like all these other books are like bi-monthly, or you get tie-ins all the time. This is the one like crossover event that DC's been doing that is only once a month, and you don't get anything else during the month except for that.
You
So I
know,
feel like
love
he-
it, and
he's
that's
the
what I was
only
gonna
one.
say, though. It's my wallet that's complaining. Like, please stop. Please leave me alone. Like,
I don't.
think anyone wrote like Damien and Jonathan, because I think Jonathan's taken over in Future State. Yeah.
Yes.
yeah, I think so.
I just again not because it's Tom Taylor, but I feel he did a real good job of like transitioning them into that role, Damien
Mhm.
and John. I just think that this new future state, I reckon the transition isn't going to be as good.
They should definitely take a note from them. Like
Yeah.
they should
Well, I don't know
follow.
where Damien's gonna be in Future State, because he's not Batman. So
Mm.
I think
I think
he
I've
might
always
be
been
there.
Batman's Bruce Wayne, simple as that. But when Tom wrote that Damien to Batman, I was like, you know what? If anyone's to take up his role, I know that's a big debate. I Dick, Tim, whatever. Damien. I would say Damien. 100%.
What
well,
if here's another
I
twist.
think Nightwing did a good job after Battle for the Cowl.
Yeah.
Asriel.
Get out of here with that.
I just don't. I love Azrael.
I love the character design. I think it's awesome. I don't think what's his name, John Paul Valley. I don't think he can hold it. He's not a detective. That's the one thing.
Yeah.
Like, he can fight and he can defend the city like anyone else, but he doesn't have that detective mentality that the Bat family has that allows them to like figure. Because like a lot of the criminals in Gotham are smart and they do things that like it's not like, oh, I'm gonna just blow up the city. They're like interworking and doing all this weird crime organization stuff, and you have to be able to figure out what's going on and when they're gonna strike next. And that's the coolest thing about Batman being a detective, especially lately when they kind of brought that back. Is who could fill all the roles of Batman. And I think obviously, like, I would want Damien because he's the actual son, but
Tim Drake though. Tim is amazing.
Tim Drake is an underrated like
He's
character, but I think it for me I would have to pick Dick Grayson because I love Nightwing, and I think as like through the Bat family, he's the big brother.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like they all they look up to him and listen to him like they would Batman.
But Damien, I feel, has the balls to make decisions. I think Nightwing's a bit too soft.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
You know what? You
I love
know,
Nightwing. Don't get me wrong. I love him. I love him. I love him. But
Nick's
still-
about to get a ticket to Australia, but there's about to be a fight.
you know who? But you know who was the worst?
hey man, they're doing all
like,
these
like in
social
Bat-
media boxing things. We might.
but you know how Battle for the Cowl, the worst possible thing was was Red Hood as Batman. That's
Yeah.
awful. Running around with the Glocks, just shooting people. Oh my god, that's too extreme.
hey, you know what? Speaking of Damien and Battle for the Cowl and all of that, I remember back when I was reading Batman, there was this huge thing, and I think that even spilled over into the New 52, where there's this future where Damien, becomes Batman, but he becomes, huh?
Like the Batman 666 is Damien.
Yeah, where he, basically loses his fucking mind and ends up being like, this super evil Batman, and that's been alluded to, like, I remember it was alluded to multiple times. Has there been a story that has referred back to that, or
there's Batman, or not Batman, I'm sorry, Teen Titans.
because he looked crazy?
Oh man, it's yeah, it was Teen Titans like 44, 45. No, not 44. I have it right here. It's, you guys keep talking. Let me find it real quick.
Yeah, Damien's a great character. He really is a really good character, and I love how they write him. I really do. But like, out of the Bat family, there's so many good characters. But something that I think that no one would see if they did is if Barbara Gordon became Batman, like took over.
Oh, that would be dope as shit.
Because she's like that character that is at, like, you don't see it, but she's definitely as brutal as any of them. Because she's been through the ringer.
Oh, there it is.
So this is Super Sons number 11, and it ties in with another title, but it has to do with like some kind of time travel where it does bring Damien and John from the future. Like, there's something that happens where John, like, pretty much goes becomes like a tyrant, and or it could be either John or Damien. But this is called Super Sons of Tomorrow. So look that up, Super Sons of Tomorrow. And
is the Super Sons run worth buying? Like, I think I'm gonna buy the omnibus.
I think
That's
so.
good.
I'm about
Yeah.
to start buying all of them. But that's basically one of the stories where it brings back Damien, I think 666, where he's like
Gotcha. Okay.
he goes too far, and
Yeah. Because back when I was reading Batman and Robin, which I love that New 52 run, man.
Oh my god, that was a good. I remember picking up issues of that.
Dude, it was fantastic, like absolutely fantastic. But yeah, I remember them, bringing up that Damien storyline, and I was always intrigued. I always wanted to see them like explore that Damien in the future. How he got there, like him being Batman and just going too far, but I guess he never ended up.
You know what they need to do about? I keep saying like my suggestions, what they should do because they're gonna do whatever they want. Is that John Kent needs a Bizarro?
yeah,
Like
sure.
that's what I
They did
really.
something like that.
What?
At the end of the Superman run for Rebirth, they did something about Bizarro World,
Yeah.
and they
Yeah,
all traveled to Bizarro World. I forget if there was like a child Bizarro, but
there was. Yeah,
Yeah, they what? Yeah.
there
That's
was.
cool because
yeah,
that's what I think is missing. Some of these characters need their own villains. I hate when they overlap villains. Like I get it, you're like sidekicks or like connected to other, but like they need their own villains. That's what really builds a character. Is like because Wally West and Barry Allen has their own gallery of villains, and that's what like separates because they have like you have Eobor Thawne and then you have who's Professor Zoom? What's his name?
Hunter.
Hunter
Oh,
Zolomon.
awesome villain in Null. I'm just saying.
So
What is it?
I
Is it
have
Virus?
Huh?
Is Virus still in the books?
Virus?
Yeah.
Uh,
no, yeah,
no.
No.
not at all, man. He got shit on
Yeah.
like real quick.
I remember how everyone was hyped. Like the spec value on those books of him were
It's
so
going
high.
down.
Yeah, dude. And you know what? Honestly, I really love the premise of Virus, his like, ability set, all of that. I hope that they I ho- I hope that Donny Cates like, does more with him. But the spec value on those books, dude.
They were
So I would
when
say
they announced him, it was
Virus,
crazy. Everyone was freaking out.
Yeah.
Virus is like the equal to Kite Man in Batman. Like he's a villain, sure, but he got beat. Like at first when he was introduced, he was like definitely doing his thing or whatever. But then every time he tries to do something now, he just gets immediately beat, and he's just not a good character. But I do have two things. I unfortunately have to go in like about 5 minutes.
Okay.
But two things. One, it's me just showing off because I'm very happy about this. But I'm gonna do a screen share. I got this book in today. It's a Strange Academy 6.
Nice.
But I went to Unknown and I got this cover and it's
Oh
beautiful.
my god.
Oh, yeah.
I can't wait to grab it out of the mail after
Dude.
this talk. After this right here.
David Nakayama, right?
Yes, yeah, DNA right there. Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. I'm so
Dude.
excited. I can't wait.
Dude, how many favorite bars do you have?
How many what?
Those quick link favorite bars.
Oh man, I have a lot, man. I need it, or else I would be typing all day. But that was one, and two is do you guys? So we talked about those 6 titles today. I'm assuming after every time we meet, we may want to either drop a few titles, like not drop them from our personal collection, but drop them from talking about this here. So like for me, I would say, what if we dropped X-Men and we picked up King in Black?
Yeah.
You know?
I'm down.
So we could talk about this right now, or we could talk about this in the chat in our own
I
chat.
think based on like what's going on in comics, we can like switch out titles. Like if like a month if something happens crazy and like something and we're all reading it or a majority of us are reading it, we could be like, okay, this week we're gonna switch out, pick one and we'll switch it out and
Well,
Exactly,
January and
yeah.
February
That-
we'll
that's
have to drop
what the-
all the DC ones.
yeah, because we're dropping all the DC books
Until
for
January,
future
February.
states, so
It's future
Exactly,
state,
so-
so we'll be right there.
like we could talk at the end of January and the end of February. We could talk about future states as like a whole, from what like
Yeah.
who read what and whatever.
So
Yeah.
our next meetup is probably going to be January 9th. We'll definitely talk about it. like I said, I'm about to have to go, and that doesn't mean that you guys have to stop talking. So if y'all want to continue talking, please do.
It's lunchtime for me.
But
Man.
Yeah, I gotta go. I'm about to eat dinner.
All right. So in that case, let me go ahead and just say, the registration for this is still up on at Manny Reach Comics. I want everybody to plug their own Instagrams for sure. But mine's at Manny Reach Comics. In my bio, there's a link to register. If you still want to register, if you want to go ahead and talk with us once a month, it's still open. It's not just locked to our little group right now. We do have another member named Dan, who unfortunately couldn't be here because work got the better of him. So
he was the one that also read all of X of Swords.
Yeah, exactly. He probably had a lot of opinions on X of Swords.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, that it is the way the cookie crumbles, right?
Yeah.
So I guess I'll finish this off with saying we will talk about what we'll read what we'll talk about on January 9th in the chat.
Yeah.
Wait.
Then. But I think this was a pretty good episode. I think there was.
Yeah. To be honest with you, because I've been watching my feed and everything, we've been getting lots of comments, and I try to bring up the ones that actually have to do with what we're talking about, and we've been getting a lot of views, like more than I normally do. I think we peaked at 5 live views, so which is a lot. Normally I peak at like 2, 3, so. Afterwards, I can't imagine what this is gonna get when it gets saved onto the Twitch.
I can't wait. I want to make a specific one for 1 month later, where we can all go in there and
yeah, we should probably make a channel for eventually as we build up, make a channel for that and make an Instagram just for it.
That's true. That's another step.
Yeah.
Moving on up slowly. But
yeah.
surely.
But yeah. If you guys want to plug your Instagrams, and then we'll sign off.
Yeah, for sure, man. Mine is Omnipotent City Comics. Omnipotent City, just like Omnipotent City in Thor, God of Thunder.
Oh, mine's Talking Pop Culture. So just talking comics at the moment, but there's no movies coming out. There's nothing out at the moment. So once all the movies and all that start coming out, I'll do movie reviews just as well as comic reviews. And I had to drop the toys because I just got a girlfriend, so
Hey, Disney Plus is about to help you out with that,
Oh.
That's it. When Disney Plus comes out, I'll be very active on Instagram.
All right. Thank you for everyone that tuned in and watched. We will be back next month. Make sure that you also follow Manny and Matt on Twitch and their Instagrams, and Carlos on their Instagram. We will be back. This is going to be a monthly thing, and eventually it will spin out into its own Twitch, and follow us over there too. Until then, you've been watching 1 month later, issue 1. See you guys next month.
Awesome, guys. Thank you.